What's good, everybody? It's Jason
and Bill
with another episode of Nothing's for No One. New metal round 6, I think, or 7. One of those.
6.5.
Featuring Mr. Edward G. Gobo.
Hey!
Welcome to the building.
Oh, I thought it was Edward C. Gobo.
What up?
Yeah,
What
Edward
up?
C. Gobo. There we go.
Yeah, it's a reference to Burton C. Bell, obviously.
Definitely. In canon with our episodes.
Yeah.
6 shirt.
Thank you. That's part of my trademark here, obviously.
Yeah.
This is a Marilyn Manson Mechanical Animals era shirt.
Fuck yeah.
I just got it recently. My friend's girlfriend, Ashley, my friend Stavros from Atlas Moth, his girlfriend sells a bunch of stuff on eBay and resale sites. And she's like, she knows what I like. And she'll be like, hey, putting this aside, if you want it or whatever, I'm just like, yeah, I jumped on this. This is what's called in the everyone knows the resale community. And those, it was referenced recently in a cover of the song Popular by Not a Surf that Bill and I's band Something Is Waiting did. Mm-hmm. But it's huge now. And this is what's called a dead stock. A dead stock basically means it's never been worn before.
Okay.
And then someone put it aside and said, this tour cycle's over and we can't sell this merch anymore because it's out of context.
Sure.
Goes away for 30 years or whatever. And now it's in my possession.
Hell yeah.
So as soon as I get home, I'll be taking this off and then not wearing it. I'm never going to wash
Ever
it.
again.
Never. Yeah. This is a once in a while thing.
Sure.
I even got a little paranoid driving here because you're sweating in it as you're driving in your car with heat on. So I don't even like that. Also, you'll see that my favorite time of year is now, which is Christmas, and I'm wearing the cranberry cardigan. I only bring it out for the month of December. I wear it all the time. It's the only cardigan I wear. Also, you can't really see it, but I'm also wearing green jeans, I try to wear these as much as possible during the month of December.
Festive colors.
Love Christmas.
Hell
it's my favorite time.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
But I'm
I didn't know
stoked
that
to be here
about
for the Christmas. Yeah, it's everyone. I think growing up, there's a light on now. Also, I can't really hear myself well on this monitor, Bill. Maybe you could look into that for 2 seconds. Everyone growing up is always all about the two holidays, I think, are Halloween, obviously, for metal people.
Yeah.
Also 4th of July. So, because it's like a drunken, fun, blow up everything, wear an American flag thong holiday. It's become, now it's good. Thank you, Bill. But yeah, I just love Christmas. I always have. And I do like Christmas music too.
Sure.
I like new school Christmas music. Carrie Underwood is my favorite, probably.
Okay.
Vanessa Williams, I love. And it's great.
What about the classic Mariah Carey hit?
That song is great, and I have a lot of respect for it.
Fine.
I just hear it too much. I DJ'd a wedding for a couple last September. And they said, hey, they were obsessed with Christmas. They're like, hey, you need to play that Mariah Carey. I'm like, your wedding's in September. And they said, yeah, but we want to hear it. And we want you to play it a couple times. And I said, I'll do it. But here's the problem. I'm going to look like the worst DJ ever because I'm playing a holiday song, a Christmas song in September.
Yeah.
Multiple times. So it's like I'm, being schizophrenic. And then people are going to be like, what's up with this dude? He's an idiot. So I played it, though. I played it, I think, twice.
Could you at least have like a disclaimer and be like, I did not choose to do this?
I did say something along those lines. I said, this is the bride and groom's favorite Christmas song, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't.
In September. That's some bullshit, man.
Due to a monetary transactional agreement, I am obligated to play this song.
Yeah,
they should have slipped you an extra like $400.
People
for that.
By the way, people watch the show that I've either DJ'd their weddings or they've been at weddings I DJ. Sure. I could definitely be bought. If you need to hear a song, case in point, I did some wedding in the burbs around these parts. We're in Westchester. It was not this summer, obviously it was the summer before that. They said, we hate Post Malone. We do not want to hear any Post Malone.
Okay.
I'm like, great.
Would you normally put on Post Malone?
At that time, he was blowing up and everyone wanted to hear his shit.
Okay.
So some person at the wedding goes, I need to hear Post Malone. I go, bride and groom don't want to hear it. She goes, you don't understand. I need to hear Post Malone. And I had that reaction. I was like, all right. And she goes, you don't understand, and then takes out like a crumpled 20 and then folds it a certain way and puts it in my my pocket of my dress shirt. It goes, I need to hear Post Malone now. I go, it'll be the next song.
Wow,
Let's do it.
just $20? That's all it takes you?
Yeah, for one song.
I'll grease you to put on a Deeds of Flesh song at the fucking wedding, man.
I will get... It varies. If it's something that's shocking, then the price has to go up because I have to act like it's,
yeah. So Disgorge wouldn't cost a 20.
The blowback from it might be a little bit, so it's gotta be worth it.
That's fair.
But I can be bought, yes.
Hell yeah, that's funny. I wonder, like, what kind of fucking person goes, and it's not even their wedding, that says, like, I need to hear a Post Malone song. Like, what? Just go outside and listen to it on your phone.
Well, you figure in a hall,
I know.
loud PA system is a DJ.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it was worth it for her. But that one banger.
Like,
she loved it.
Yeah.
When I go to weddings, I'm never like, I'm gonna make I don't know. I'm like, whatever he plays, he plays. I don't know. It's weird to do that at somebody else's wedding.
People do that often where they request songs, but it's after them drinking all night.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And I'll say something to the effect of, we have 5 songs left.
Yeah.
I've been DJing for hours. And they'll come up to me and say, I got a quick request. I'm like, it's over.
Yeah.
I have the last 5 songs planned, and there's a time on this wedding where it needs to end.
Yeah.
You had all night to give me this request, and you were afraid of me.
Waited till the last minute.
Do
they normally react, like, understandably to that scenario?
I'm sure that's mixed.
Yeah, it's mixed. Whenever you add in booze to it.
Yeah. Could be like, what the fuck?
And I will, the more attractive the girl is, the more likely I am to play the song.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Dudes, they better come with some money or whatever. Or I better want something from them.
That's fair. Yeah,
they have a cool company or whatever that I'm going to get a deal on, Yeah,
there you go. So Christmas, huh? Do you have any favorite Christmas traditions that you like to partake in?
I want to see my family this year. I don't know if I will. I watch a few movies, which is nothing odd, just the standard Christmas classics. Like Home Alone's probably my favorite still.
Nice.
And yeah, I guess all these traditions are sort of getting curbed by the year, which is I used to like going to shop at stores and stuff. And
Hell yeah.
They did according to the info I received, $6 billion of business in online sales over, what was that day that just passed? Black
Friday?
Black Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just chilling on the computer, just buying.
Yeah.
And everyone bought from independent businesses, which is cool too.
Sure.
Oh, nice.
And that $6 billion in one day, which is insane to think about. So, but yeah, that was it. Anything else in my life is just try to see a few people, try to see some family. Yesterday I ended up watching, which I was talking to Bill about. This has nothing to do with the holidays, but it was nice and it gave a nice holiday feel watching the Mike Tyson fought yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
What was that about? I thought he's been retired, right?
Yeah, he hasn't fought.
And,
Roy Jones.
Yeah, we're both retired.
He hasn't fought in 15 years, and he had his first boxing match in 15 years. And they had what's called an exhibition, which Gabe at our band practice described it. It means you can't knock a guy out, basically.
Oh,
or they want, which it's very a quick paced sport. So if a knockout happens, you have to be in the right place at the right time to essentially intervene and stop it. But it was a fight that lasted 8 rounds and was very underwhelming. It was still cool and nostalgic. And at the end of the day, which was great because I placed a bet on Roy Jones because I'm a horrible. I like going with underdogs and getting points.
Sure.
And
did he lose?
Well, it looked like I was going to lose. And what happened was they called it a draw.
Oh,
so that means I didn't lose.
Nice. There you go. Hell yeah.
I'll take that all day long.
Yeah,
because I went against Tyson and he came out hot.
Yeah,
it was really it was an interesting match. And Snoop Dogg was there. And the other what's his name? Not Lil Wayne.
Lil Yachty?
Fuck. No, he's
Lil Uzi.
He does that song Black and Yellow.
Oh,
he's a huge rapper.
Is it Wiz Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa,
yeah.
Yeah, so they did some rap between matches and stuff.
Ew.
So Snoop Dogg's was cool.
Snoop is cool. I don't like Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
So,
he's like my high school generation of rappers where it's we love weed. I love weed. But like he's very like, we love fucking weed.
They both lit up blunts during it.
I believe it. I saw there was like this quote going around on Facebook today of Mike Tyson admitting he like got baked before the fight. And he's that's just how I live.
If you're betting on someone, because people did bet on Mike Tyson last night, knowing he smokes weed before a match, you might want to rethink the bet.
Yeah,
like I have no clue what's going on.
It's a fast-paced sport. I don't understand.
I will never. This is the last time I will bet on a Mike Tyson fight for the rest of my life, which is good. Yeah, I got my money back. That's cool.
You think there's going to be more?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to start doing these legend exhibition matches where it's just for nostalgia kicks.
Yeah,
and the boxing, the world of boxing is super weird at this point, where they don't have celebrities that are not high end boxers that have taken the reins from all these OGs, of awesomeness. That's when you get guys like McGregor. Coming into having a one-off match with Mayweather. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, but they're doing it for ratings. So
there's a lot of money to be made.
The boxing industry, if I was a huge fan of it, I'd be really pissed off at it right now.
Sure.
They have no guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know much of anything about boxing other than Mike Tyson.
You need the 80s and 90s, which was the heyday for this shit. I had heavyweight champions that were all huge personas.
Sure.
And then when they would get beat, the new guy would become the persona.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was a golden age for boxing. But yeah, it was awesome. But it was still fun to watch.
Sick.
And I'm stoked to be here today.
Hell yeah. I have one last Christmas question. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Home Alone? Is it Home Alone?
My favorite Christmas movie is probably, and I'm going to rethink this as I'm going to think of a deep cut where the backdrop is Christmas, but I'd probably say Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins rules. That's an awesome movie. Yeah, okay, that's fair. It is a very heavy backdrop, too.
Yeah.
Very cool. Fuck, that's a good choice. My straight up favorite Christmas movie is Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's awesome. Michael Caine is the sickest Scrooge. It's such a good movie. The songs are banging. It's good.
There's one I'm thinking of, and I'm drawing a fucking blank on. Oh, I love Jingle All the Way as well.
I love that movie too, man.
These are the mainstream
Sinbad,
ones, but
right?
Yes, Sinbad's shit.
Wasn't that one of what's-his-face's last movies before he got killed? Yeah.
Phil Hartman, yeah. He was the pseudo bad guy or whatever. He was trying to mac on Schwarzenegger's wife.
Yeah.
Who's played by Renee Russo, Tom Hanks' wife. Or not Renee Russo.
But it is Tom Hanks' wife.
I know. Renee Williams.
Renee Hanks?
No, she doesn't have this.
Rita Wilson.
There we go.
Damn it.
Rita Hanks.
Remember, Tom Hanks was the first person to have COVID, and everyone thought he was going to die.
Oh, Tom Hanks!
Gotta save him.
Wow, great. Yeah.
And now they all hate him because he's part of the hashtag Save the Children, all that crap.
What is that? Like some...
the QAnon, the Pizzagate stuff.
He's
Tom
part
Hanks
of that?
On there. Yeah.
He's part of Pizzagate?
Yeah. Any celebrity that's talked against Donald Trump is on that list, coincidentally.
Wow.
Bill and I have a new bit, which we wrote. It's I play someone from Trump's camp, and Bill plays generic society.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
I start ranting about how we need to recount the votes, and then Bill just interrupts me, going, "Here, we'll do it."
Yeah,
we wrote this bit.
Gabe.
Hey, we need to recount the votes because, we need to get this straight. We just keep going like that.
That's sick.
So it's awesome. There's an exclusive for you guys.
Yeah,
me and Bill wrote that.
Are you going to do it live?
Yeah, probably.
You should do it. Especially if it's a year later from now. Yeah, that'd be so sick.
No.
Hell yeah.
There's artistic aspect to that bit because Bill interrupts me at the right time where I get a few words in.
Yeah.
So you know what it's about. And no.
Yeah, that is good. Hell yeah. Well, we got some bangers to talk about today.
Yeah. This is a fun one.
We got some System of a Down Toxicity, which we'll be doing first, and then we got Years, right? Which is whatchamacallit by Soil. Scars by Soil, and then we got motherfucking GZR in the building. Hidden member of Wu-Tang, if you guys didn't know. GZR, RZA.
The Jizza and the RZA.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, sick. So
stoked to be here.
My pick My pick was System of a Down's Toxicity, and I picked it probably because I would say, at least for me, it's probably the new metal album I've listened to most in my entire life. System of a Down they were pretty much the band that really got me into heavy music was that. Nice. I have a funny story, and I'm pretty sure I've told it on this podcast, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I met one of my longest life friends in high school or in middle school. His name's Eric. He hasn't been on the show, but eventually we will get him on here.
We should.
Yeah, Eric's the man. We weren't really friends when I started. I started public school with middle school, like in 7th grade. I was going to a private Montessori school before then, so it was kind of like my irons were in the fire here. Like I've never. That's not a good expression to use, but whatever. It's like
irons in the fire means you have your hands in multiple things.
Yeah, well, that's Montessori school, but like. At least the learning approach I feel is like Montessori school's got to like that.
Furious right now, but go on.
I said something recently at a band practice, and I said, "What is the proper expression for this, Gabe?" And he actually thought about it for a few seconds, and then he said it, and it was proper. We'll never.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I forgot what it
he's
was,
smart
yeah.
when it comes to that, like finding the right expression.
Yeah, he's not dumb. Yeah, he's a pretty.
I believe
smart
it.
guy.
I'm not saying I'm smart.
So you had irons and fires. Sorry.
Yeah, irons and fires here. So there was a bit of a rough transition for me going into public school just because I didn't know a lot of people. I knew the few people that like carried over from my Montessori school over to here, but otherwise I didn't know that many people. And one day, like the lockers at my at my middle school had like. You didn't have like a lock. The lock was like built into the locker, and like it had this weird, like a little metal piece that latched on that shut it. And if you didn't close it far enough in, like you could easily break it open. So this dude in me and Eric's homeroom class, his name was Graham Reisbach. Shout out Graham. This is all. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't even be here.
Graham Reisbach.
Yeah, Graham Reisbach.
Oh, I thought it was Reisbach.
No, Reisbach. It was Graham Reisbach's locker. One day I walk in and he left it ajar, and like me and Eric were not cool with each other at first. We would just like not talk to each other and like do bogus shit to each other all the time until like one day I see Eric's trying to break into this dude's locker. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He was like, oh, he left this open. I just want to see what's in. And I was like, all right. So like I helped him. We unjammed this locker. We got it open. We found a CD case, this Case Logic CD case, right? So I'm looking in the CD case. We're like, all right, what are we going to take? And then Eric's just like, oh, we're taking this. And it was System of a Down's Toxicity, which was scratched to hell. And then on top of that, it was a censored version of Disturbed's second album, Believe. So there were no swears on it. So we took the CDs. Graham easily figured out it was us. I don't know how he found out, but I was just like, we were just like, yeah, it was us. We still had them, right? And like, that's when me and Eric really started to become friends because we both had iPods, but Eric didn't have a computer and I had a computer. So I was like, oh, I could just take these CDs. We'll put them on my computer and put them on our iPods. We're good to go. And then Eric was like, yeah, it's a good idea. And then I was like, if Graham bitches about it, like we'll just. And then it turned out Toxicity was so scratched that the second half would barely play. So I was like, fuck this. I'll just go buy it, like, and we'll have it and we'll put it on my computer. And then like Disturbed worked, but I noticed all the swears were gone. And so like Graham was being such an asshole about it that we finally gave him back to him. I'm like, by the way, pussy, like this is edited. Like, and he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. There's swears and they're definitely not on that CD, dude. Like,
was it obvious that the swears were missing?
Yeah, because it was one of those edits where it was just like there would be a word, like a vocal line just taken out. Like they didn't substitute it with anything else. So it was like a blank space. Yeah, I guess not. I was like, have you heard this? Because one of the songs, the chorus is like bold motherfucker, he says, and the motherfucker's not in there. And I'm just like, yeah, how do you, I don't know. I don't remember. It was so long ago. I was 14. But anyway, like System of a Down, like I remembered them because I used to listen to Q101 all the time. And I remember hearing Chop Suey. And I was like, yeah, this song's sick. But I never really got into them other than like those singles, which were like Toxicity, Chop Suey, and Aerials. But then finally I checked out the CD and I was like, fuck, I love this. Like I'm all about it. And still to this day, I still really enjoyed that album.
CD's awesome.
Going back and listening to it. Yeah, it's so, and I know it's like a big record. Like I knew it was a big deal. I don't know much of the history behind it, but I know it's giant. I mean, if you go on Spotify alone, Chop Suey has like 500 something million plays. Wow. Yeah, it's insane.
We're talking about, and we should probably have a category for this in our episodes. This is for lack of a better description, a Hall of Fame nu metal record.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a Mount Rushmore one.
A Mount Rushmore one. I mean, it's hard to say Mount Rushmore because that means there's only 4 of them.
Right, but I mean, you know.
But like, still, it might
one of the pinnacles.
It might be a Mount Rushmore one. I see it not usurping Korn one, not usurping Slipknot one or whatever.
Yeah,
those are hard to beat.
Sure,
so those are probably on the Mount Rushmore, but it's up there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a great album because like front to, like I was talking to Gabe about it last night. I was like, front to back, every song's a single.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Like, everyone's a fucking hit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Love it. I love it so much. I actually learned how to play some of those songs on guitar before I really started playing drums. Like, that's how big I was on it. Yeah.
By ear how to play almost this whole album.
Really?
Yeah, because I liked it so much and I listened to it so much that I would just play along until I like almost learned. Because it's not the most difficult thing in the world at all. Like, but the riffs are just fun. Like,
yeah,
the riffs
they're fun.
So much fun.
And the songs are just like, this band is like, I mean, I would probably to this day still say that this is probably their best material that they've done, in my opinion. I also really like the later shit that they did, and I like all their stuff.
I love the self-titled a lot.
Yeah, that album's awesome.
Amazing album.
Q-Bird, dude.
Great. What's up?
Q-Bird. Yeah. That song rules. And Spiders. I remember seeing the music video for Spiders. Have you guys seen that?
Absolutely.
When I was a child, I was so afraid of it. Like all the spider web things and this weird alien queen woman. I was like, I hate this.
They had makeup on. And
nuts.
Obviously, Sugar was the big song off the first one.
Yeah.
That's what got me into them, was seeing that video on MTV.
Spiders?
Like, no,
Sugar. Yeah.
I was like,
that
who the
video's sick
fuck
too.
is this? And I was like, System of a Down. I was like, all right, gotta go buy it. Bought the album and like loved it.
You know, and Sugar's like a bit of a whimsical song, and it's like I feel like they took that and ran with it on Toxicity, because there's so much goofy shit on this album. You know, whether it's lyrics or melodies or riffs, like there's so much like whimsical, weird ass like shit going on.
That's part of the charm of this band.
I know, I love it.
Sets them apart from like every other new metal band.
I was so stoked listening to this record this week because Bill and I are writing a record right now, and when you listen to records like this, and actually the Soil record and the GZR, it's just bands being themselves. Yeah, and that's such a breath of fresh air, and it validates when you're trying to do something and just be you. Yep, it's other people could do it, and you can succeed at it. You just, if you believe, others will believe. And System of a Down is the prime example of that. They the first record came out, and first of all, the first record compared to the second one sounds like shit. It's not as tight. Rick Rubin did both of them. Yeah. Rick Rubin actually tells a story about how this is his new metal band. And I know he worked with Slipknot on the third record and worked with a couple other.
He did Volume 3?
Yes, he did.
I didn't know that. I almost picked that for this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But this is Rick Rubin's new metal band. Okay. And they, if I'm not mistaken, until they got off the label, they released all their shit through his label, American Records, which is a division of Def Jam and whatever.
I didn't know that was his label.
Yeah. So what happened was Rick Rubin started Def Jam Records. Okay. And then he wanted to, that was with Russell Simmons. Yeah. The brother of Reverend Run from Run DMC. Yeah. Rick wanted to do some rock shit. He couldn't get the blessing to do it under that canopy. So he started his side label, and it became Def Jam America. Okay. Or American or whatever. And then it just became, that was the label that put out all these metal bands. Sure. Where it was American did like Slayer. Okay. So they put out all the early Slayer stuff when Rick Rubin started listening to him, or working with him. Rain and Blood on, basically.
I remember.
And Danzig. Yeah. And it was still rolling until those bands were kind of going a different direction. And then System came in around the late 90s, 98 or whatever was the first System record. So that's when Slayer was Slayer still put out multiple records with Rubin's label after that. Sure. And Danzig, I think, eventually got off of it right around that time, and he started his own Danzig Records or whatever, just to get all the money and just do his thing his way. But this was this is his new metal band. He tells a story in a documentary I watched with him where he got invited to a club to see him in LA. And the thing that attracted to him was the weirdness of doing this blistering new metal attack, very primitive, more primitive than a lot of the new metal bands, and had a punk rock element to it that I hear left and right. If you ever listen to a band, the Dead Kennedys, sure, they're a huge influence on System of a Down. Yeah, you could hear it. It's very apparent. And then there's the Armenian roots music that they have. Yep. So they were just doing their own thing, and that's what enamored Rubin. Says, I want to work with these dudes. And they went soon in the studio afterward. first record I think is great, but it lacks the amount of overdubs and production they need, and there's bangers on it. Do not get me wrong. That put them on Ozfest, opening up for bands like Fear Factory and going on tour for a couple of years, and then this was the record where they
opened for Fear Factory.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a huge and it was a huge tour. It was them playing equivalent of the Riv or Metros all around the United States with Fear Factory.
Yeah.
They were an LA band, so Fear Factory knew about these dudes prior to them like becoming huge. This is a band too, it's super rare, man, but they're a band, they're kind of like Chili Peppers, where they're from Los Angeles when you hear them.
Big time. Yeah.
And there's a lot of LA references.
The album cover alone. I mean, like iconic.
What's that one? It is iconic. And what's that one song where he talks about hanging out at the Staples Center or whatever?
I forget.
The Staples Center, you could see America. Everyone knows that if you're an LA Lakers fan where they play. So it's just really LA band to the bone.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it. Really cool.
That's interesting you talk about that America Records thing, because I remember
American
Records. Yeah. I remember like back in like, whenever records
maybe it is called America.
I can't remember if it's America or American, but I remember like, when you would buy like an old vinyl.
I haven't thought about record labels in a while because they're just dropping like flies, Yeah.
If you go buy like a record and like you look at the little picture that's on the, the inner part where you put like the actual record on the player, how like old records, like old rock records, they have like a stock, whatever stock text and whatever from their record label. Like, so when you bought the first System of a Down CD, American or America Records had, I'm going to look it up just so I don't look like a fucking idiot right now. But like he's got, I think so too, but I
remember the logo.
So it was a cookie cutter logo on all the LPs. Yeah. So if they did a Slayer one, it looked just like a System of a Down and so on and so forth. Eventually they got out of that because bands wanted to use that as a visual to rep themselves more than the label.
American, you're right. It was American Recordings.
So and the logo was an upside down flag.
Yeah, but I remember like the first System of a Down CD, it looked really clean cut. It was this black CD with two gray arrows pointing out. Yep. But then Toxicity was the same thing, but it looked all hand drawn and like fucked up, which was so sick. I was like, that's really cool that they did that. It's like I had Toxicity first before I had the first record. So I was just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck this means on the actual CD. It's probably nothing.
How old were you in 98?
7.
Okay.
So
that's when that first one came out.
Yeah, I was 7.
Is crazy to think.
Yeah. I was young when this one came out, man. I was like 10 or
came out 3 years later. It came out on 2001.
September 4th, 2001.
Which is my birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, man.
I was born on September 4th, 2001.
Yeah. I just love this fucking album.
That was a joke. Slip that one in. It came out on my birthday.
Yeah. Well, you were born and now you're here and now you're 20, about to be 20.
And also what's funny about that is I know what day my birthday was on that year. Tuesday, because that's all the days that records came out.
That was it, man. You buy the Chicago Sun-Times, I get the Best Buy ad in there, and then I go straight to the CDC what's coming out. Yeah.
Oh God, that was awesome. I used to take it a step further and get those and then highlight them.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nice.
I was an extreme CD buyer, and I also still have all my CDs in several boxes in my closet. They take up so much space, but I can't find the heart to get rid of them. I never will.
Oh yeah, me either.
I had hundreds of CDs. And I would alphabetize them. I alphabetize everything.
Fuck yeah, which is great.
Yeah. So if you want to come see my T-shirt collection, they're all alphabetized. So if you want a Metallica shirt, you say this is probably where M would be. There's my Metallica shirts.
Like they have at stores where instead of like the sizes, it's like a letter you can put on there.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I might have you come over and make a rack out. All right, this is going to be awesome. You're going to help me with this.
I usually file my CDs, and once, knock on wood, I'm trying to get my own place figured out. I might have something figured out. Guys, I haven't had room to like put up my CDs or anything like that. I have like bookshelves and shit I put them in, but I have them filed alphabetically and then chronologically. So it's like, Children of Bodom CDs, you're going to get the first all the way to whatever last one I have there. Yeah,
it's first to last. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Very fun.
In High Fidelity when he was rearranging his album.
Autobiographically.
Yeah.
Which is, when did I buy this LP?
That's insane.
Yeah. So I
had to remember.
So cool.
It's so funny.
There's so much I wouldn't be able to figure out.
I would never be able to do that.
Yeah.
Only a man that is severely heartbroken could do something like that in that movie.
Yeah, for real. You like the series, right? We've talked about the series.
I love the series. Yeah, I think Zoe Kravitz is awesome. Her supporting cast is great. Mm-hmm. If you one of the charms of High Fidelity for me, the original, was the fact that it was done in Chicago. That's taken away because it takes place in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah.
If you go to Brooklyn, I don't find it as charming anywhere near. Like there's a record store on every corner, basically. You know. But it was still rad, and I think that if people are still holding their breath for a season 2, I think it's over. They're not, really? Because they wrapped up. If you watch the series, and anyone knows this, if they watched it, it wraps up in a nice little package.
Yeah, definitely.
With COVID and the fact that I think the show was popular, but it wasn't like a water cooler show where everything is gone. You know, a lot of shows are gonna not get second lot. Oh, Glow got canceled, which we may have spoke about recently on the other podcast.
I know. Bummer.
It's because of COVID and the fact that you can't get. There's 30 chicks on that show. You can't get them scheduled at the same time, and who's
on top of like physically wrestling each other. Like
yeah.
So yeah,
I never watched that show. I should though.
It was awesome.
I've been watching. You ever heard of a show called Girlfriends?
Yeah, that's with homegirl Ellis Ross or
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Tracy Ellis Ross. She's so funny.
Hell yeah.
Well, she's on Blackish.
Okay.
With the show with Anthony Anderson.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
Yeah, I'll have to peep it. I love Girlfriends, dude.
That's funny. That show, I remember watching when it was airing live and saying this show sucks, but it's had an awesome resurgence because she's a genius. Like she's such a good comedic actress. There was a show before that was much better, and everyone in the 90s, this is the perfect time to talk about it, knows about this show, called Living Single.
Okay.
It was about 4 African-American women that were just in their 20s figuring it out. Queen Latifah was one of them.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just a rad fucking show and so well done. And then she became huge because she's also a really great actress. And the girl who played Trudy on Facts of Life was one of them. Okay. Anyone who knows that, these are old references.
Sure.
well before your time. But that was a fun show.
Knows a lot of these.
Yeah, probably. Girlfriends is sick though. It's on Netflix, so if you're looking for something to watch, I recommend it.
There is a big connection to System of a Down for me always with it reminds me of being. I saw a clip of on Disney Plus of they just released Hamilton. You know that play
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, System of a Down reminds me of a musical in a lot of ways. For sure, where it's
there's a lot of theatrics to them.
I think they will add in quirky little funny things and. Example is I hate musicals, this is why I like System, but musicals I'm not a fan of. If you watch an episode or musical like The Producers, for example, I believe it takes the background of that movie is it takes place in Nazi Germany or there's some Nazi influence around, but they'll have this weird cheery aspect to it.
Yeah,
and it's sarcasm.
Yeah,
and that's System. It's them talking about these political atrocities, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And how fucked up their home country is.
Yeah.
Even though, they're Americans, but obviously the Armenian connection. But has in this cheery, jolly aspect where it's sarcastic, like a musical.
Yeah.
So a satire, if you will.
Definitely. I mean, they're still singing about shit that's relevant today. Like, what's the song? Deer Dance? They're talking about like rubber bullets and shit like that. I'm like, oh wow, that happened this year too, and it's 2020. Man, I love this record. It's just so even the production on it, I love.
Rick Rubin also produced this one.
Yeah, and it sounds awesome. It's so heavy.
Now this one is way better than when you listen to the first one. It sounds almost. If you listen to the Nirvana record Bleach, people know this. It was a band where the songs were there, but they didn't know how to record in the studio yet.
Sure.
And then you want to keep that fire under them and say, just do what you do live, but it's going to sound sketchy.
Yeah.
This one, they were better musicians, and everyone rose to the occasion. And it's the first one where they really embraced, they have 3 vocalists in the band. The only guy who doesn't sing is the drummer.
Oh, okay.
So if you
I didn't know the bass player sang.
Yeah. So
backing.
An example is the first song on the record, which everyone knows when you were growing up when you were growing up through this record. Yeah, you hear every time you're at a party and you just hear dun.
Yeah,
you know it's on and you're gonna listen to this record for 45 more minutes. And their bassist Shavo he sings the hook in it. He goes, "For you and me to live in." That's him.
Oh, no shit.
Yes. And then Darian
Malakian.
Darren
Malakian, I think.
Malakian?
Yeah.
I was going to say the Darian Sportsplex in they used to have hardcore shows. He does a cracker smack my bitch right here. And so he does that, and then Serge does everything else. So the dynamics work. It's just three different vocalists. Chavo, their bassist, shout out to him, I guess. He's the guy that beat the shit out of the guitarist in Mastodon, and put him in a coma for a minute.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
What?
At some award show, right?
Yeah. So Billy, you hear about this shit?
I remember when this happened.
All right. So here, listen. We'll tell the story really quick. This is a
what the fuck?
I'm giving a Cliff Notes version of the story, so there's probably truths to it, which I'm not, and don't hold me to any of this, but I'm going off of memory. They ran into each other in Vegas at an award show. Some award show. I don't know. It might have been even the Grammys. I don't know. They have a brush up with each other, and homeboy for Mastodon's drunk, and
it's Brent Hines, I believe.
Yeah, the guitarist who has a tattoo on his head.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the nuts guy.
Yeah, like that guy. Okay.
And he instigated something with Chavo for System of a Down, and he wasn't feeling it. It wasn't the wrong motherfucker to fuck with, and he beat the shit out of him. And put him in the hospital to the point where I think
his nose and shit.
He had like a cracked skull.
Fuck.
And he was in and out of it for like weeks, maybe like a couple weeks.
Holy shit.
And then what happened was he had no legal recourse because he was fucking with him.
Oh, okay.
So he just like
defending himself.
Yeah, stupid.
Sometimes when someone defends himself, the person defending themselves goes hard and will fucking kill you. Like, if you fuck with Gabe, for example, Gabe is not the right guy to fuck with because he works out and he knows jujitsu.
Yeah, doesn't he do jujitsu?
Yeah, so he'll fucking kill you.
Fuck you.
If you want to fuck with me, I'll throw a couple random flying fists at you, and then we'll probably walk away and maybe have a beer or whatever. But like you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, of course.
But Gabe is the wrong guy to fuck with.
He'll put the hurt on you.
Yeah, he'll put the fucking hurt. So he laid out Brent from Mastodon. Then Brent was in this weird.
It's like funny to me,
it's
man.
Fucking hilarious.
What an idiot. I know Brent also pushed CeeLo Green into a pool at the Grammys too. Apparently.
He's a dude that I've hung with Brent from Mastodon before. And he, for whatever reason, I was in his backstage area. I'm not even going to tell the story while I was back there, but he saw me from across the room. He goes, "Hey." And I'm like, "Hey." And then he goes, "I'm Brent." And he goes, like, "Come over here," or whatever. And I shook his hand or whatever. And we talked for a couple minutes and a beer together. And that was it. But that would be the last person. It was him. It was Mastodon and Lamb of God. And I think Slayer doing a show.
I remember that. And Children of Bodom. And Slayer headlined. It was one of those Unholy Alliance tours or whatever.
Something like that. So I was backstage. I knew some dudes from Lamb of God at one point. But he was just so nice. And he was a dude that you could tell is just interested in chilling with everyone. And I was the guy to chill with at that moment.
Hell yeah.
But he got destroyed by Chavo, and then he ended up writing, which is the record I don't like. Took Mastodon on a weird tangent. Crack the Sky.
Yeah, I love that album, but I get
that opened up. He was in and out of consciousness for a while and had all these weird visions and ideas, and then you get Crack the Sky. So
yeah, thanks Chavo.
Yeah.
That's one of their biggest records too.
Yeah,
I feel like
not for me. Like I do enjoy Mastodon a lot. We've probably talked about them here, but that's where I really got off that band.
Okay, sure.
Seeing them at Metro do Crack the Sky start to finish the week it came out, I was just so turned off by it compared to the banger records they had before that.
Sure, way different too.
I said this band is for other people now, not me. And they had a whole new fan base after that as well. Intricate metal dudes at like Dream Theater and shit.
Hey, in comes Jason. Even though I don't really like Dream Theater, but that's what. Well, I did like Mastodon when Leviathan came out. That's when I first heard of them and really got into them. But I liked Leviathan. I liked Remission. I liked Blood Mountain, and I liked Crack the Sky.
Remission's the shit.
Yeah.
I saw them at the Fireside Bowl on that.
That's
record.
sick.
I told Nate about that recently, and it was them at Cephalic Carnage.
What the fuck?
Whoa! They being Relapse used to do a tour. Everyone knows
Relapse
this.
Contamination.
Yes. Yeah. So it ended eventually, but
I went to the last one.
It was Deeds of Flesh, I assume, or whatever.
It was supposed to be Obscura.
Is Deeds of Flesh even a Relapse band?
No, they're Unique Leader.
Okay.
They are Unique Leader too. Those guys started Unique Leader, but it was supposed to be Obscura, Graves of Valor, and Abysmal Dawn. Graves of Valor was the band that was everybody that was originally in Through the Eyes of the Dead that quit before they did their first album. They started another band basically as a rivalry, which was Graves of Valor, and they did not last. They did one album on Relapse, and that was it.
Not win that,
but it was Graves of Valor. That was probably one of the only. That's a fucking band that you probably most people don't even know of. They were a deathcore band that was very short lived. It was them. Abysmal Dawn just put out their second record. And it was supposed to be Obscura, but the singer caught the swine flu at the time, and they nixed the tour. They were they're from Germany. They were we can't come over to the States. He's sick and shit. So they got 3 inches of blood to do it. At least the Chicago show.
Relapse Contamination Tour was. Every label should do this. If you have a label, Unique Leader, for example, take your.
They do a tour.
Yeah, so it's every year. You have bands that you take 3 of your best bands that are on tour cycles. You put them on the road together.
Yep.
And then get one rad band that you probably are interested in signing, or maybe to open up in every city, or do the regional run. You guys or whatever. And
you know what's funny? That was exactly what was supposed to happen with our label this year.
Yeah. It's cool.
I don't want to say too much because I don't know what I can and can't say, but there was a plan for an artisan tour, and they were going to have a select amount of core bands that were going to be in the whole thing. We were one of them. And then they were going to have bands that couldn't tour full time, but do maybe a couple dates in this region. Some of the Midwest bands would do the Midwest dates. Some of the Southern bands would do the Southern dates. We were going to do a week in Canada, and there was going to be the Canadian bands were going to jump on that week. It would have been so fucking cool.
There was awesome. Roadrunner tours as well.
Yeah.
So I saw the Roadrunner tour, Fear Factory, Machine Head, Chimera, and Il Nino. Yeah.
They did that every year.
Lineup. Yeah. It was so awesome. Well, Roadrunner was the biggest deal in the late 90s for new metal, and they would just hodgepodge it. And then, which we talked about in the show before, once you start working with bands like Slipknot and Nickelback, which they both signed simultaneously, then Roadrunner goes, we don't have to do this little bullshit pound the pavement tours or whatever to get 1,000 people out to a club on a Saturday. We'll let these arena bands do it. And then that's pretty much it for us,
Yeah.
This record is really cool too. It reminded me of something, which was, it came out right around this record, and then we'll segue later on into a record around the same time that came out. But this came out a week before 9/11.
Yeah, I know, which is insane.
And also, this was one of the records. Shout out to System of a Down, because when you around 9/11 were organically taught through mainstream media and the press. It was a much different time, basically, to become overnight essentially xenophobic, where it was anyone who was of Middle Eastern descent you had to look at with slanted eyes. Yeah. And that's not a racial reference to Asians or anything like that, but when it comes
you're right.
No, when it comes down to
side eye, I think
side eyes. Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Nice.
A little bit of a
we'll edit that out. But
Gabe is serious again.
What happened was
slanted eyes.
It was everyone who was of Middle Eastern descent was suspect, and this was the perfect band to be around that time, to come out and start really making waves around that time. Because what happened was we were all kids that didn't want to be a part of that mental thought.
Of course,
right.
And they were. I mean, they weren't heroes of mine. They were a band I liked a lot, and I was just saying they're of Middle Eastern descent.
So you were a big System of a Down fan.
Here's the problem, which is right around that time when Toxicity came out, and this has been well documented on this show. I was getting into really, really extreme metal.
Okay.
And God bless, I was a fan of them for the first record, for sure.
Sure.
In 98. By that time, I was going a different direction, but that being said, I mean, I saw them the first tour they played on Toxicity, which was the Pledge of Allegiance tour with Slipknot, them, and Rammstein.
Wow.
This was at Allstate Arena.
Yeah, and that show.
Yeah. So that was their first time they were, and that show actually got postponed months due to 9/11.
Really?
It was supposed to, the tour was supposed to come through, I want to say in late September. And they postponed like 3 months.
Yeah, wasn't Mudvayne supposed to be on that too? And then it dropped off.
That dropped off because of that.
I think it was I don't know if it was because of 9/11. I think it was drugs.
Okay. They're 9/11.
Did all touring come to a halt then?
It did, and I remember
I don't know. I don't remember.
Here's what happened, which was this was so insane.
I was in 4th grade when 9/11 happened, so
yeah, I was in high school.
So we were approaching the fall tour season.
Okay.
Which is huge for tours, metal tours especially.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And there was arena tours, club tours, whatever. As soon as 9/11 hit, all the arena tours across the board got canceled.
Okay.
Nothing, by the way, this is so weird. 9/11 was an incident where for the 3 weeks after it, nothing happened. All events across the board were canceled. Ball games, fucking small venues, everything. It was nothing was happening. So 3 weeks after that, we started testing the waters again. And the first thing that got rescheduled were all these tours that were like club tours.
Sure.
No terrorist is going to bomb a club.
Of course.
With 1,000 people. They're not going to waste their time. So those started getting back up and running. And some of them didn't get canceled because they were already scheduled for like October. Mm-hmm. That happened. But the big arena tours did get postponed, including Pledge of Allegiance. And that only got postponed, I want to say, it was around 2 months. Okay. And then it was back on. But it totally had a different feel because it was almost, and it was a triumphant feel because America took one. If you were an American at that time, it was a horrible time. It was so sad. And this was us saying like, fuck you, we're doing this. We're not letting the terrorists win. That's where the line came from, which is they wanted to throw a wrench in our everyday lives by doing this, and they succeeded. But when we got back out and started doing it again, it was almost everyone was stoked to be there. And the name itself was Pledge of Allegiance Tour. So those bands came out, and you had a riotous aspect of anti-government to some degree for
big
a band like
System of a Down,
and even a little bit like Slipknot. Slipknot was kind of anti-establishment too in their own way. But
I wouldn't say it's like upfront about it though.
And then Rammstein's a band from Germany. Well, when it came down to it, that was like a celebration. I remember a lot of bands that night mentioning the United States in some shape or form. And then damn near, I remember seeing that Roadrunner tour with Machine Head or whatever. Right around that time. Oh no, that was Machine Head came through in a headliner, and the whole time everyone was just chanting USA between songs.
Wow.
And then Rob Flynn's just standing there like, it was one of those times, But it was awkward to say the least.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That'd be weird for a band like System of a Down too. It was very, I feel like, anti-American government and anti-government in general. But like, that's got to be awkward to be like, oh, but I mean, that album is giant. It's still huge.
For that to stop them. So
that has to be Toxicity has to be a platinum album.
Without question.
It's got to be a platinum album. It's huge. It's one of like you said, it's a Metal Hall of Fame record. And I mean, it's just like, I feel like this album too, like had a lot more dynamics than the first record.
Way more.
Because you had songs like look at Toxicity. It's got like the quiet verses, which are really melodic, and then the super big chorus, which is heavy and melodic. And then you have a song like Chop Suey, which has the quirky ass, like iconic verse. Yep. And then you have like the really epic sounding chorus. And then Aerials is like such a fucking moody ass song. Those
are the three big singles you mentioned, and they are timeless songs.
Absolutely. They're
so good. And the drums, everyone, when I heard Toxicity, the song Toxicity, every drummer wanted to learn that beat.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, dude, I learned it. I remember like that was big. I mean, at least for me as a drummer. John is like, as a new metal drummer, I know he's been getting flack recently too as like a Trump supporter. Have you been seeing that?
Yeah, he's been pretty outspoken,
which is pretty wild. Yeah. But like,
triple platinum.
Triple platinum? Hell yeah! All right,
dang, that's awesome.
I give respect. System of a Down came out with new songs recently. Two new songs.
And I love them actually.
Yeah,
I give Surge some props because Surge is the most outspoken politically.
Sure.
And this guy, their drummer John, will not fold. He will not. Yeah. He doubles and triples down on Trump being. And you're thinking that it's going to turn off Surge to the point where I don't want to work with this guy for the rest of my life.
He came out and said that he's like family because isn't he married to Surge's sister?
Yes. So there's some. Now, it sucks because I don't 100% agree with that. I'm not saying their instance, but the instance of, agree to disagree, because sometimes someone disagrees with you to the point where it's a deal breaker.
Sure.
There's no room for colloquial racism where it's like,
of course,
this applies to the holidays, which is the the uncle who's 55 years old doesn't have a right to be an asshole racist,
of course,
at the party, but he thinks he does. And you should do the thing where you put your foot down, especially when you're at a certain age. When you're 12 years old, it should be when you're 12, honestly, but you're taught that bullshit, which is the respect your elders shit. Mm-hmm. Once you get to a certain point where you can speak your mind, say what the fuck's up. Hopefully we're getting past that, where now people like that can't feel the need or the need to. I don't understand why you have to spout racism at a Christmas function. You know what I'm saying?
That comfortable, of course, or validated is so weird.
Yeah, and then also it's so fucking funny because when kids grow up, you have five nieces and nephews. This is the guy who's in his 60s right now. And there's 5 nieces and nephews. They grow up to be 18 years old and they start having girlfriends. And you don't know where the boyfriends and girlfriends at different walks of life. And this is how people are doing stuff now. There's not like I'm Italian, I need to date someone who's Italian. It's like we're so far removed from that.
Yeah, of course.
So the bottom line is there's no place. There's no fucking place for it. And again, if you have a racist uncle who likes to spout this shit up, especially when they have drinks in them, that's the biggest fucking tell them to fuck off. Yeah, get nice and lubed.
Tony Soprano, man, with Meadows' fucking biracial boyfriend. Remember?
Well, yeah, that was the episode that was kind of the social commentary on it. Yeah. And then people, I think, went a different way right after that because that was one of the more popular episodes. Because it's like that was putting emphasis on the elephant in the room. Everyone had been victim of that at one point, and it's fucking stupid, you know. So
definitely. Yeah, it's interesting though. Aside from Mr. John Dolmayan's political views, I'm a big fan of his drumming, especially on this record because he does so much cool shit. And
he doesn't use double bass either.
No,
Yeah.
But and even on the new songs, there's like blast beats on the new songs that are fast. Like it's not like just some dumb shit. And it's like, whoa, you know. And I like, part of me also thinks like maybe Serge is kind of folding on that shit because System of a Down isn't like. I don't know if they're going to do another record. I don't know if that's like their game plan because so far they're all being like, well, we don't know. But maybe this is leading to like them having a career again. But it's like when you're in a band for that long when did Hypnotize come out? 2006 or some shit? Like
there's Hypnotize and Mesmerize. And then I think that was 2003 and 6.
Was it 3 and it was a year apart? I know that they were just a year apart because like that's when I was full on into this band and I was like I couldn't get enough. Maybe 2005
because they were Steal This album.
They weren't even a year apart. They were less than a year apart.
Steal This album, which is a collection of songs that essentially didn't make Toxicity.
Yeah,
came out. I want to say a year after that, 2002.
Yep.
And there's so many bangers on that record. Bill and I were just talking about that.
Yeah, like it's funny that their B-sides were hits. You know?
That's the one thing.
Like how good they were.
This really Toxicity for all intents and purposes. First of all, I think the record's too long, but it's worth it because the album they're all bangers.
Yeah.
And if anything, this should have been a double LP and been one of the best double LPs ever.
Yeah.
Which would combine those two records.
Steal This album is a 45-minute record.
Yeah.
It's like 16 songs or something. And then on top of that, like they're picking the best ones of those for Toxicity.
Right.
Which is insane. That's another 45-minute album.
Sometimes though, maybe those are the records at the time that were the best songs that they put on.
Sure.
Sometimes records songs evolve and it takes them long in the incubation stages. So those might have been messes and they worked it out over the course of time.
Sure.
And became bangers by the time Steal This album.
There you go. Yeah. Well, because that song Boom was in Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yeah, we forgot about that. Bill and I were talking about what songs were big off that, which is like Boom, BYOB.
BYOB was Mesmerize.
No, it was.
Yep.
Was it?
It was the first single. It was the second single off Mesmerize. BYOB. Yep.
I'm gonna look up.
I'll put money on that too. Let's make a bet.
I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out really quick to my friend's band, which is they're from Chicago. You guys maybe seen them or Bubbles Erotica.
I know the name. Yeah. I've never heard him.
That's a reference to a System of a Down song.
Oh, okay. What song?
And I believe it is on this one, Steal This album, AEIEO.
Oh, yeah.
He says...
yeah. Song rules.
He says, plutonium wedding rings, Bubbles Erotica.
Yeah.
Or something, some variation of that. But shout out to those dudes.
Intervision, I think, was another. It was BYOB.
BYOB, not on Steal This album.
It's Mesmerize, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Damn it. Sorry.
Yeah, close enough.
It's okay, man.
Great record.
Yeah, love it.
Really, really.
Pull the tapeworm out of your ass, man. I love that line.
Yep.
Pull the tapeworm out of me. So sick, dude. Oh, fuck. And it's so heavy. Like, there's so many just like catchy, heavy parts.
Ignorant riffs.
Yeah.
That are just heavy. and I believe this is the record where their guitarist got his signature Iceman Ibanez.
Yeah, fuck yeah, great guitar, in my opinion. Iceman is so sick. Have you seen Wes Howe's Iceman?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
7-string that he has.
Yeah, so
Sick
dope.
as fuck, like all mahogany.
Yeah, if I had played guitar, I'd get something like that easily.
People out there who listen to System and like this, you got to go back and listen to 1980s again, Dead Kennedys, because there's such a connection. And people, I was driving through Westchester today, and there was some kid in a Minor Threat shirt, and I was like, oh, punk rock finally made its way to
Westchester,
punk rock hardcore.
To the burbs.
Yeah.
Great place to shop and eat, or eat and shop.
God,
live and shop.
I seen a woman, man, and I don't even know what to do about it anymore. Not masked up in a gas station today in Westchester.
Yeah.
And it's like,
we're not that far from the city. Like,
what the fuck is going on? Just put a fucking mask on before I fucking.
Even gas stations in Chicago, I don't see people put on masks when they're pumping their gas. Yeah, I do it all the time.
Wait, when you're not pumping.
Fine, but
no,
going
but inside.
Into the store.
Oh, I have
what a
not
fucking
seen that.
idiot. And then also, I had to get in some chick's face recently, which is always great when you're a dude having to be the alpha male getting in chicks' faces, and it's a masculine versus feminine thing. She's not wearing a mask in a gas station an hour away from here, and she was probably a crack or meth head.
Sick.
She was like a functional one.
Okay.
It was just kind of
new to it.
It was kind of it's part of her life, but she's not insane.
Okay.
But a lot of them have vendettisome outlooks, so when they go anywhere, they need to be the center of attention.
Yeah. Sick.
So when there's 20 people literally in a gas station, including the employees, it's one of those mega gas stations.
Yeah.
We're all wearing masks, and you're 19 of us are wearing masks, and you're the one maskless one. I need to say something, and then you get your validation by coming the center of attention for that one moment of the day because you need that.
Yeah.
And then I'm looked at as the asshole because I'm bringing it. Or you could just do a thing where you ignore them and then just stay away from them and say they're going to be fucking ignorant assholes everywhere they go.
That's usually my move.
Yeah, I just leave them be.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to stop doing that. I want to hold people accountable, and then I'll get my ass kicked or get yelled at.
Was this in Illinois?
This was about an hour away from here by Great America.
Okay, like
yeah,
Gurney.
so it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. Right. I think it might have been actually in Gurney.
It was Great America.
Yeah, I broke into Great America recently. By the way,
sick. What did you ride? The Raging Bull front row.
I miss a theme park, man. I haven't been there in a long time.
We got to go when they reopen, dude. Will you do Raging Bull front row?
Yeah, I'll do anything front row.
Oh yeah, back row's good too, especially with fat guys. Ooh, I gotta weigh it down.
Yeah. There's a lot of whiplash.
Yeah.
Right? I do not do anything. The only type of ride I will not do is in Great America. The ride is Giant Drop, where you just go straight up in the air and they fucking plummet you down. I hate that shit. It's not entertaining at all. I get anxieties from heights when I'm not on a roller coaster. When it's just some ass beating where you're going up slow and you know that's so fucking.
That's
stupid.
all it is. It's the same type of anticipation, but less of a thrill because it's like, oh, we're just going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah, I agree. Giant Drop's a ripoff. It's some bullshit. It's not that sick. It isn't that sick.
It isn't, and it is a ripoff because what they've done is had this parcel of land which is this big and made a ride out of it, and they just built it straight up.
Yeah,
when you build,
all we need.
When you build a roller coaster, you need a lot.
A lot of land.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, dude, I've played Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 for PC when I was 8 or whatever. Did you ever play that game?
Yeah.
You remember
you like all the time.
I had the award for most throw up in like uncleaned park.
Nice.
Because like you're supposed to clean, like you'd have people go on roller coasters and they puke after it.
There is an awesome song on Toxicity, which is a gem, Psycho.
Oh fuck yeah.
And that one doesn't have really a political angle to it at all.
No,
it's just talking about a psycho groupie
cocaine
going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a dope fucking hook.
Go, stop. Psycho group, cocaine crazy. Psycho group, coke. Oh man, yeah. This album is so good, and it's like they do that, and then they put out like Aerials. Do you know Amon Amarth covered Aerials, the Viking metal band?
What?
Yeah, they did on a couple albums ago. They did a cover of it. Yeah, and I was just like, why? And it's totally like, and I'm like, well, I guess that's cool, but yeah, very strange.
How about that? How about that? Way ahead of its timeline. In Aerials, which is life is a waterfall. We drink from the river and then turn around and put up a wall.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. That is ever present in the now post-Trump administration.
Yeah.
But that's what it was.
And how about that we're living in post-Trump administration? Well, we're about to be living in.
No, me and Bill's bit from earlier.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. Oh man. Is that official that he's given up now? Is that official yet? Has that been a thing?
Not officially conceded. However, he is allowing the transition to happen.
Oh, great.
But he still has technically not conceded.
Okay.
Which is the most big baby shit.
Does he have to concede?
He does not.
I guess he doesn't, but he's got to get the fuck out January 20th.
21st or whatever it is.
21st.
Yeah. Get your shit out, man.
Who do you think's going to play the inauguration? Outcast reunion? Yeah. And Snoop Dogg, both smoking blunts.
They're just like
for Biden
for the United States.
Sick. All right. So next, what do we got? Yours?
That's it. That's what we're talking about. I don't know,
we could keep going. I feel like we've been on this one for at least an hour.
It's a great album.
There's
really so much to say about it. I mean,
hell yeah. It's big for everybody, I think, in our in that range that was in the music.
The only time I've ever seen Danny do karaoke was he did what's the song?
Probably Toxicity.
No, it was a sleeper song on this one.
Bounce?
Please tell me it was
not Bounce.
Needles.
Shimmy.
Wasn't Needles. I'll tell you what it is. It's Forest. He did Forest.
Oh, that's my least favorite song on the record, arguably.
Really?
Yeah. I like, but that's saying something.
I like Forest a lot. Yeah.
There's so many good songs.
Why can't you see that you are?
When it hits.
Yeah, Danny screamed that whole thing.
I've never done karaoke before in my life, which is
Why?
You
don't want to?
I sing in a band.
Okay.
And
that's enough.
I don't jump for anyone, dude. If you want to see me sing, I'll go on stage and do it.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I've had friends at their birthday parties beg me to go up at do a song for them.
Yeah.
Won't do it.
Good for you, man. I respect that.
Show.
One of my favorite stories about Toxicity is I heard an interview with this was a few years ago. Head from Korn, and the interview asked him, he's like, what bands were kind of slow burns for you that you didn't maybe like at first, and then they really resonated with you? And he goes, straight up, he answered real quick. He's like, we were full blast with the Korn. We heard the first System of a Down record, and I was like, this is okay. And then years go by. They never wanted to take them on tour. They never pursued taking them on tour.
Do you think they saw him as competition?
I think that
they probably just weren't into it.
They probably weren't into it. Yeah, something like that. And he said he thought the first record was okay. Now we think the first record is rad as fuck. I love that record.
I like them all, for the record.
and then he goes, the first time I heard Toxicity, or not Toxicity, it would be Chop Suey.
Sure.
He goes, oh fuck. He's like, they figured it out. And this is a great song. And he goes, this band is going to do something. But I love his reaction, which was like, oh, fuck. Because that will light a fire under you. When you're Korn and you have to maintain that top spot, or people think you have to write the best. And listen, anyone who listens to Korn around that era, which is 2001, Korn had great songs come out around that time. Here to Stay, if anyone knows that banger. There's a lot of shit. They just had banging,
was Got the Life out by then?
Because that was 98 or whatever.
Love that song.
Yeah. We should talk about that record sometime soon.
Is that Issues? Is that on Issues? No, that's Follow the Leader.
That's the sarcastic Gabe comment is Gabe says this is a reoccurring joke, but it's real, which is he doesn't know a Korn song.
That's not true. That can't be true.
He knows Freak on a Leash now because he loves their drummer's Ray Luzier's drum playing, and he watched a tutorial.
Oh yeah.
This is the third time that Gabe is going to be yelling at the podcast.
I've heard Korn songs.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about Gabe is this though, which is straight up. I knew Gabe back then, and I ran with him to some degree. He never went to a Korn show. He hated. It wasn't for him.
What was he into then?
You'll have to. He's always loved Metallica, Slayer,
cool,
all that shit. And then once those bands came out, where it was, he loved Down, loved Pantera. Once Queens, like his favorite band is probably Queens of the Stone. At least what he says.
Sure.
And once that started making waves, he was always a fan of those dudes.
Okay.
And he's just a person who goes by the beat of his own drummer, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And
the first time I met Gabe, he was wearing a Vital Remains shirt.
Yeah,
so
he used to like that.
Going on?
Yeah, he used to like that shit a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
His band is Super Joint. I think he liked. I'm going back. It's hard to. Oh, he loved Mudvayne. That was his new metal band.
Okay.
That was his favorite new metal band for sure.
I respect that.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised we haven't done a Mudvayne record on this yet.
Mudvayne, unlike a lot of new metal bands, were players, man. They were so good at their instruments.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they tear it up. If you listen to System of a Down,
well, the drummer and bass player.
Oh yeah, boom boom.
Not so much as a great guitar player, but it worked.
Yeah, it worked for
the
them.
Spiky head.
Yeah,
but that drummer, who I forget his name in Mudvayne, but like his double bass is insane in his fill. Yeah, it was really cool.
The reason I haven't picked them is because I never really listened to them back in that time. Well, I always thought they were okay.
50, the next one then,
dude. And I'm thinking maybe we should get Gabe to come on for the next free for all.
Ooh,
if he would be down.
I think I've asked him about it, and he like kind of turned it down for some reason.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh wait, I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah.
I'll bother him.
Great record. I love this one. Toxicity.
Me too. It sounds awesome. Everything on it sounds cool. It's a classic.
Nate likes this album.
Yeah, I know, which is insane.
I was shocked.
Like Nate still will admit that he enjoys this record.
Oh, I loved coming to the podcast today talking about this one as opposed to knowing with anxiety that I was gonna have to talk about White Pony and just like.
Oh yeah.
So, you hear that White?
Didn't I do White Pony last time? Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
Well,
I love that album.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
I might do because King A10 just dropped a new record.
They did, and that first single's a banger.
Yeah. It is pretty cool. I haven't heard the whole thing yet.
They're just gangsters. It's hard as shit. That's the hardest band out there right now.
Oh yeah, they're scary. They're very scary. Still take pictures with lots of guns and like crack dens and shit.
Shirts on probably.
Oh yeah, their singer's got like braids now too. He looks very horrifying. Like
David Gunn.
Yeah, David Gunn, man. He wrote a book.
He did. Isn't it poetry?
It's an autobiography, I think.
Okay.
Although I could be wrong. There might be some poetry dispersed in there. I've never read it, but shout out to you, David Gunn. Big ups. All right, so what do we got next, man?
Soil.
Yeah.
Yes. My homeboys.
Yeah, so you're your band.
Yeah. I was going to do it the last time, but then Ryan got mad at me, so I was like,
yeah.
Oh, there was a feud.
There was a bit of a feud there. Yeah. Well, that's all good.
Some rock beef.
I still don't know if I had the job, but it
might not. This might be.
I still talk to Tim though, so it's all good.
This might be a Chavo Brent thing.
Yeah, Bill and Ryan thing.
Yeah, Ryan would destroy me. He's got old man strength. I've seen it.
Really? He can kill your ass right now.
Dude, you should knock his ass out and inspire him to write one of their genre-changing, shifting albums.
Man, I was so glad that this one came up because I had organically listened to this record over the last year and a half or so. I mean, I obviously listened to this one back in the day, but this record is really...
Did you like Soil back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, you had to... Here's the problem, which is I ran away from the Chicago nu metal movement. I separated myself from it because Chicago was the nu metal capital of the world, basically. Okay. Which is we had the most nu metal bands like per capita as far as bands went. And it's not just Disturbed and Soil and 5.0 and all the bands that got the shots. For every one of those bands, there was like 10 of them that were just like wannabes.
Okay.
And that's what turned me off to the whole thing.
Okay.
So, and Chicago definitely has its own sort of nu metal sound. I will say this though, Soil that's why they're the ones that are still around because they have the most original of the nu metal sound, kind of like a Disturbed does as well.
Sure.
When I hear Soil, I think of a band that could go over well in a nu metal crowd, but also if you take it to that like cowboy hat bar rock band thing in the burbs, it goes over well. It's just like a hard rocking thing, you know? Yeah.
They verge that line pretty, I feel like, very steadily on this album.
Yes. And obviously the song we need to speak about in length is Halo, which arguably is a top 10 nu metal song of all time. It'll be on the bottom end. Don't get me wrong, but that song is such an anthem.
Yeah. That's like the only song I really liked from this record. Spoiler alert. But I did like it. I mean, not that I would probably listen to it on my own, but yeah. But anyway, I don't mean to.
Your biggest single.
Yeah, because you would play.
That's
the song that you've been playing at practice since I've joined the band and never have been able to join in on it. Now I might be able to.
We might cover it maybe somewhere online. Yeah, do our version of Halo. Yeah, because it would sound different, but that song is so good.
You could call it the rock beef too, somewhere in there.
We could probably get home
after us.
We could probably bury the hatchet though and get him on the LP to do backing vocals or whatever.
No way.
Soil is a band that unfortunately there's so many things I like about the band. the name has never resonated with me. I thought if they had a little bit snappier of a name, they could have been that much bigger. Everyone has early on, if you were a Soil fan, it was always the guitarist in the band was Sean Glass.
Well, there's Sean and Adam.
And
on this album?
Yes.
On this one, yeah.
This is the first one, right?
Second album.
This is their second album?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he went on to be in the reunited
Broken Hope.
Yeah. And then he's out of the band now at this point.
Well, he's been out of the band for a while, I believe.
Broken Hope before?
Yeah, he was in Broken Hope, and then I don't know if he did Oppressor or not.
No. That was just Tim, Adam, and the original drummer, Tom.
Well, Broken Hope stopped for years, and then Oppressor stopped, and then I think they started Soil, I'm guessing, in that time.
Well, they did it around the same time. They were doing like double duty for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But then Soil became so successful that Oppressor stopped for obvious reasons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
You can find an old video of Oppressor on YouTube.
I'm sure it's sick too. That band was awesome.
Awesome.
They were like Chicago Suffocation.
Yeah. I mean, they went on tour Suffocation.
Yeah.
Like, Tim's got tons of stories about them. Pretty funny.
So when you then get out of Soil, didn't Sean he did was it Dirge and Dirge Within?
Dirge Within, yeah. Then I think
one more Bloodline, right?
The Bloodline, yeah.
Bloodline.
So Dirge Within, I ran a show for. This is so funny. There was a couple things I had coursing through my head recently, which was the concept of I thought about finding old emails through AOL and getting into my account and then printing them out and like framing them in my house because they were important emails to me in my life. I'm not going to get into them. It was just like talking with rad people back in the day, you know. One of them was this, which was I started booking shows, and one of the, everyone knows that one of the early venues I worked at was Reggie's right when it started.
Okay.
And Dirge Within was, I think, called Dirge at the time, and they were doing a big like sort of pseudo showcase show.
Sure.
Where all their friends had to come out, and I mean, I have no problem with Sean, the singer. I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, I guarantee he's out of music now because he was so like he had no barometer for reeling it in. He was just like high, like just jitters at all times. And what happened was, this is so good, which was he had a piece of equipment. He was probably like my age at the time. I'm 36 now, but he's probably around like mid 30s or whatever. He had a piece of equipment which you plug into the back of a mic, and it makes every mic like a wireless.
Oh.
It's like a fucking wire, whatever.
It's just a wireless pack.
Okay.
All right, so you could probably get one of those for fucking $10 now on whatever site.
Zounds.com, man.
All right, great, whatever. At the time, maybe it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But he plays the show, and they have they have boxes where he's jumping on, exactly, and banners and shit.
Ego risers, is that what you called
it? Like 110
Yeah, it's sick.
There's like 100 people at the show. But you need risers and shit, and they're just doing. They were, again, it was probably a showcase.
Sure.
Some dude in the label's checking them out, and I work back-to-back days at Reggie's, and I get to work the next day, and the sound guy, who's this guy Abe, comes up to me and goes, "Oh, hey Ed, just so you know, I'm working at the desk, doing for a show, you know, like load in all the shit. The singer from the band yesterday left this behind, and it's a piece of." You know, it's that plug-in thing. It's a wireless thing. I go, okay, cool. I'll send him an email saying I got it. Instantaneously, I get an email from him, not from Sean, who I talked to before. He goes, hey, man, I got your email from Sean. I knew you're the guy who worked the door at the show yesterday. I get this email that's this long.
About the piece that was missing?
Yes, and he's throwing under the bus the sound guy who like took it out of the mic or whatever and put it because they were getting another band on stage or whatever. There was some shit over. And he was giving this long ass rant about this and how pissed off he was. They didn't have a show coming up for months. And every time he would get angry, he would put the cap locks on and then do a sentence in bold.
You still have this email?
I have it somewhere.
Hell yeah.
My response a minute later after reading this was, Yeah, dude, you could have just said, like, do you have my piece of equipment that I'm looking at right now and I just got handed by the fucking sound guy who, in the email, he accuses the sound guy of stealing the shit. Like, he's going to steal this important piece of equipment. And I'm just like, however I phrased it was perfect. And I'm like, you're such a fucking idiot, dude. And that's why I guarantee this guy's out of music. Because if this was him playing a local show for 100 people at Reggie's, you could not go on tour for the life of you, dude.
No.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if do you know if Frankie was in that band?
Yes,
Dirge Within, and he was in the Bloodline too.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about Dirge Within. I mean, I don't know much about Soil other than from what you have told me, other than the fact that I believe them and Sean Glass are not cool.
Not in these.
Yeah, right. That was like really bad.
A
lot of people don't like that guy. Not even just like, I don't think from the Soil camp, but from like the Broken Hope camp, they don't like him.
It's weird. I've definitely met way more people that do not like Sean than have liked him. I've met a few people that are like, oh, I know Sean. He was really cool to me. I was like, okay, you're like one of like 4 people maybe. But,
he was a hard dude to deal with when I've run shows for him because
he's burned a lot of bridges.
He always is trying. I'm not the easy. I don't care about being impressed. I don't care about anything. But like he would always say he would be playing in a band like Dirge Within, and then want to talk to me about Death. Like the band
Death.
And I go, I don't know why you're bringing up Death right now.
Yeah.
But I like you're trying to see more underground or whatever, even though you're up there doing new metal riffs, you know, through a fucking Line 6. I'm just like, I don't care. And believe, I'm like, I actually probably like your band more than you think.
Yeah.
You know, like I like Soil. So
that's funny.
It's just fucking hilarious. The funny thing is this though, which is I have no clue the origins of Soil, but I will tell you this. There was a venue called Oasis 160, which has probably been brought up on the show. It was a South Suburbs club. I saw
way before your time.
Okay.
When Exodus finally came back and did the Tempo of the Damn record, this was their first stop on their tour. Yeah, it was so awesome. So I've been waiting 20 years to see Exodus, and I went, not 20 years, but it was a long fucking time. I went to go see that show, and this band opened up called Quick Change.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where it was definitely Exodus was just on tour by themselves. And they were going to get the banging local opener from the area that has all the old friends that drink beer or whatever to play.
Quick Change.
Quick Change was the answer to this.
Weird band name.
Yeah. So it was all old dudes. They were probably dudes that were 45 back then.
100 says that their changeover was probably slower than
I was just thinking that too.
So it's like the whole gist of it. Like, yeah, we're called Quick Change, but we move real slow. So sound guy's nightmare.
Irony. So what happened was they come out to a sound clip and Arise on stage. They're 45-year-old like dudes who are dads and shit.
Fuck yeah.
And they go into their first song, and I've never had the answer to this, but I swear this is the first song, and they proceed to do a 35-minute set of all original songs. They open up with the first song in this solo record, Bringing Me Down. And
really?
What I'm thinking is this is what I've been doing if anyone knows DM the show or whatever, I'm thinking this is what happened, which is when Soil, they were from, if I'm not mistaken, members were from around those parts.
Yeah, they're like Schaumburg, Hoffman Estates, like that area.
There might have been a split up of the band, and that might have been one of the first songs they wrote when they were under a different umbrella, whatever. And then it's one of those things where
I don't know.
We have this song, right? And then half the two entities took the song. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
So we write a song when we're 16 in a garage. One of our we hold on to it for 10 years.
Right.
We split up
out later,
and then we say, "Well, we're going to do a version of the song." No, fuck you guys.
Like
we're going
to do and Megadeth with Four Horsemen,
exactly,
and Mechanics or whatever.
This was exactly the same. The exact same version. So unless they felt like covering a Soil song, start their set of 35 minutes of original material, this is what happened.
Yeah.
So I was at the venue like totally confused because I've heard the Soil song a million times by that point. You know, never got to the bottom of it. But that song's dope. And then obviously Halo. There's I want to say, what's the song about getting fucked in a garden?
I don't know. Getting fucked in a garden.
Yep. Hold on, let me pull up the track listing.
Yeah, you know what's funny with this band was they were never a band that I checked out at the height of my new metal time and everything. And I remember hearing of them and rumblings of them, and obviously being from Chicago, I would know of them in some
Unreal
capacity.
is the name of this song, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that song rules.
Yeah, that was a kind of a little hit for them.
That was another big one for them.
I don't know if the hook is getting fucked in the garden. Maybe I made that up, but I'm pretty sure there's some variation of that. I'm not making fun of it, but it was an interesting lyric. And then Wide Open is a jam.
Yeah, that song fucking rules.
That song's like
I wanted to ask Tim about that because like I remember there was some run.
Did they play that on their last tour?
They
like that European tour?
I think they did it in Europe, but only in Europe. I've never seen them do that song anywhere else. And I'm like, dude, that song's a fucking banger. Like, how are you
so good
not playing that?
That song's hard as fuck.
Yeah, it's heavy as fuck.
Yeah,
it's so good.
No, it's just I get it as it just is hard. It's just a hard ass song. It's like a badass song on do it on a bike, basically.
Yeah.
That's a jam.
Sure. It's awesome. And I remember like them playing that. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I know I work for them, but I have like zero knowledge of like really their discography or any of that stuff. So listening to this, I was like, oh wow, they play a lot from this album. Like a lot of songs that they do live. I'm like, oh, I recognize a lot of these are from the set. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
seeing is like they're one of those bands for sure that it's awesome that like if you're a Soil fan, you're gonna have a great time because they're gonna play.
You're gonna have a good time.
Hits.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of albums either, and it looks like their last album came out in 2013.
Whole?
What? Yeah.
Was it really that?
Their
long
album was
ago?
called Whole.
Yes.
Their last Whole, like the band
Whole.
Whole is in like the whole thing.
Like WHO.
Oh, okay.
God, that is 2013.
Yeah.
I've known them for a really long time then.
Yeah. Throttle Junkies.
I was on
Throttle Junkies was their first LP.
I am a Throttle Junkie. All right. I'm definitely
Throttle.
not.
The Whole tour. I have a shirt.
A Throttle Junkie shirt?
No, the Whole
Oh, hell
tour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you did it.
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember like, I was like, this is sick. I was like, what are you guys going to be playing? Because I bought the album and I was like, oh, what are you guys playing off it? And he's like, just like 2 songs. I was like, what? And like, yeah, that's it. I was like, all right.
There you go.
Fair enough, I guess. And then slowly got rid of one of those songs. and then now I think they still only play one song.
Sure.
And everything else is like the hits.
So
throughout.
Another thing about Soil is this LP, the Scars record we're talking about, was recorded by Johnny Z.
Johnny K.
Johnny K. Fuck.
Johnny Z, baby.
Johnny Z is Johnny Zazula, who is he was a manager of Metallica early on. Johnny K is from Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And
he used to have a studio not far from Pete's.
Yeah.
Pete Grossman.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny K, his initial cutting of teeth was he recorded all the shit from the band Enough's Enough.
Okay.
And that was it was like an 80s hair metal band that was Chicago's version of Poison, all that shit, but it wasn't anywhere near as good. I actually got in trouble. I mean, not in trouble, but the dudes who run the dudes and bands that were playing what's the fucking fest called? The Chicago Metal Fest that goes on every December.
Chicago Open Air?
No, this is the underground one.
Chicago Domination Fest?
No.
The death metal one?
No.
It's in
the one Atlas Moth played it.
Oh.
This year Broken Hope played it.
Oh, is it that stupid ass? I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name. Deaf something.
Oh yeah, Deaf Forever Fest.
Yeah.
I saw
is that what it's called? Deaf Forever?
I don't know. I think it's that.
It's gotta be something different. I know Immortal Bird played it once.
But what happened was
did they?
What happened?
Forever Deaf Fest.
Forever Deaf.
There we go. Right?
What
Forever
happened,
Deaf.
What happened was this, and it was mainly to troll the Atlas Moth dudes. They were playing Forever Deaf Fest one night. I was going to see them, and I said I was checking in at Livewire simultaneously when Enough's Enough was playing Livewire, and I was tagging the Atlas Moth, like Atlas Moth are killing it right now, blah blah, because they were playing that night simultaneously. So it was a funny joke. But Johnny K did a thing where he engineered all the Enough's LPs, and then his big thing was he started working with Disturbed, and then you have Disturbed records sound real good. And then Soil, it makes sense for him to work with them. And then Floodgates open. He did a Machine Head record. He did
really? Which Machine Head
Supercharger.
Record?
It was the one that didn't really go over well, but it sounds really good. And it kind of went from there. But his catalog is great, but it's all based around that Chicago nu metal sound.
He did the last Stain album.
He did. Yeah.
I remember that. They treat him like shit in the documentary.
Like
Aaron Lewis treats him like a shit.
There's a documentary.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, you should watch it. It's pretty fucking nuts,
like
man.
Came with the DVD, like with the CD.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And Aaron Lewis
is like berating him, dude.
Johnny
calling him like an idiot and shit, and like just being like, "You fucking idiot, shithead."
Rick's band at the time, 7 Day Sonnet. They were recording the same time. Mike Mishak was recording guitars
for that album. Yeah. There's a sick part where like Mike Mishak is playing this riff, and it's got this weird like pause in it, but he like moves his head every time he does the pause. He's just got this really blank look on his face, but just to emphasize the pause, he goes like. That's really sick. It's like my favorite part of the documentary.
Mishak, his whole thing was he would just groove with the riffs and just like stay in one place and just go.
I could see that.
Bang to the floor. Like his guitar, every one of his guitars were damaged on the bottom because he would hang them so low, and then he would just keep dipping down and smack him against the floor.
Man, Stained was cool.
Really funny.
I saw Stained the first time they ever played Chicago. Sure. I want to say, it was. Well, they were opening. Their record came out through Fred Durst's label or his division.
Their very first record.
Yeah.
So don't they have like that wasn't the big one? They had some weird record at first.
It was called.
There is. One before
whatever the Dysfunction, I think it's called.
There is technically an album before that.
Oh, okay.
And that was the one that like there was that whole story where the album art was like fucked up, and that's why Fred Durst almost didn't sign them. But then somebody was like, no, you gotta understand, like their music's like amazing, like you have to work.
Yeah, they made good on it because
I think it was an EP.
The record they did after that one obviously had all the big hits on it for Stained, which is like So Far Away.
Yeah. I love Dysfunction still. That's still like one of my favorite albums.
I actually love that song too.
I like that song too.
It's a beautiful song, and it's just I don't know. I do like Stained. I know the guy's insane now, obviously, and he's a total Trump dude that just goes and plays acoustic guitar.
Is he a Trump guy?
I get the vibe that he is.
Yeah, I get the vibe that he is too.
The dude from Massachusetts rocking the cowboy hat with the southern accent.
Yeah, remember
come on.
that I sent you that video of him playing that acoustic guitar in the bar, and he's covering It's Been a While.
Yeah,
and he just screams the last. Yeah, he's like.
It just sounds like a drunk.
He's like
dude.
actually screaming that.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
it's so sick. Funny. I love that.
It's like the most embarrassing thing.
Yeah, dude. My introduction to Soil was I found them on accident because I was trying.
Because you were looking up Soilwork.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was looking it up because I was like, man, Soilwork rules, and I was a diehard Soilwork guy, and I still love that band to this day. I think they're great. I think that they're like one of the powerhouses of that Swedish scene. But
Gothenburg.
I ended up finding Soil because it was just like, oh, that's half the name, and it was like heavy metal, and this was like probably two albums after Scars or something like that. So I think they lightened up on the new metal a little bit, and it was more just kind of like hard rock from what. Because when I listened to this album, like that first song, Breaking Me Down, because I was like, is Soil really a new metal band? I always thought they were more of just like a hard rock alternative, heavy band.
Crossover.
Which they've gone. It's almost like because you've picked bands on this show. I feel like that's straddled that. Yeah.
Do the crossover.
I was like, oh, is this kind of like that? But like as soon as those vocals kick in that first song, I'm just like, oh man,
there's a lot of action vocals. Which
dude,
like
here we go. It sounds like a parody almost, but it's like a real song.
Yeah, like in the beginning he says "Let Go," but I always like to think he's saying "Lego."
Oh, he's saying "Let Go." I thought he was saying "Let's go."
Or "Let's go."
Let's go.
I think he's saying
the first song in a lot of new metal records was just. Let's get it on.
Started.
Yeah, it's almost like if Boomhauer did like a fucking. Yeah, it's like.
I also listening to this, I never realized how like insane the vibrato is on Ryan's voice.
It is
like
it's there.
It's almost Brock level 36 Crazy Fist of like.
Yeah. Like, this reminded me of that too.
I've never noticed that live. I don't think he does it that crazy live. Like
maybe not. I don't know.
We were talking about this is not a segue, but it's a what's to come, a Burton Seabell's vocals, Bill and I, and then Bill pinpointed, he says, if you look at his vocal tracks, there's zero vibrato. It's just this.
Oh yeah.
It's the polar opposite of Ryan.
Yeah, dude.
Melodyne's so happy about it. They're like, sweet, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, so sick. But yeah, this Soil record, like, it was. I'd probably not listen to it again. But fair. It was cool. Like, it was cool. Like, I'm glad I finally like listen to it because I know they've been such a presence in your life, and like you've done so much.
Really listen to this.
Oh fuck,
that's a bold statement, Bill.
That is a bold statement. It's cool. Is this like their big album? Like
this is their biggest album.
Okay,
yeah.
Because I noticed on Spotify they have the expanded edition. I'm like, oh, this must mean that it's the big
it's just 2 new tracks.
Exactly. But if they went back and did that, it probably means that it's their bigger album.
I would,
that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. Like.
It might be the last one they did with Ryan until he came back. I can't remember.
Because as soon as this happened and this album blew, he went and he was the vocals in Drowning Pool.
Yeah, so the vocals in Drowning Pool passed away.
Dave Williams, right?
Yeah. And Ryan was the follow-up. He was the one that
filled shit.
The shoes, yeah.
How long was he doing that for?
He did it for a good while. I want to say like 5-6 years he was out of the band.
He did the record, which is called I believe it's the Drowning Pool record called Dehumanizer or something like that, and it had the song Step Up on it. Okay. If you want to step up, you're gonna get knocked. That's him. That's Ryan, right?
Oh fuck,
think so.
Yeah, because Dave Williams died on their first record.
Yes. Yeah. Or after.
Yeah, it looks like he was on the one after this.
He is on a record. Okay.
Yeah, he was on Redefine, and then after that he left.
Yeah. What records was he on with Drowning Pool though?
Let's find out.
And also,
I'd ask him, but he's not talking to me right now.
And
you know, Steve Albini did their first album, Throttle Junkies.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No shit.
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
That is insane.
Step up.
That song's a
Steve
jam.
No,
that's 2 different bands and 2 different records.
You like that?
And 2 different eras.
I like that.
Yeah, Steve Albini produced like Mono, like the Japanese like post-rock band.
I know all.
Yeah,
he just did. We know Child Bite. He just did the last Child Bite record.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It got
That's
released.
cool. I should listen to that.
They just that record's awesome. That was my record of the year last year, and it came out. I want to say 1 year ago today.
Fuck, I gotta
something around that. It was Thanksgiving week. It came out.
Hell yeah.
But Albini did that one for sure.
To answer your question, he was on 2007's Full Circle. He was on a live album, Loudest Common Denominator, LCD, 2009, and then he was on the self-titled 2010 record. It looks like.
So he's on.
Yeah, and then
that whole album was his return to Soil. And when I had started working for him, it was like when he had just came back.
Yeah,
I had no idea. How did he come back?
Yeah, was he just like, I'm coming back, and they're like, okay.
I don't know. You know, I never really asked the guys about that. Like,
yeah,
because I had no, like, for me, the time frame was weird. Like, I just started working for him, and that was the band. And in my mind, I didn't know Ryan ever left.
And then I forgot who replaced him. So they had a different vocalist.
Cavalier.
Yeah.
Or Cavalier. I just read his name. I'm probably saying it wrong.
That's always funny because there's like 2 or 3 songs that they do from that era. And that's always like a funny thing because Ryan's just like, I don't want to sing this dude's fucking lyrics. And like,
there's nothing I love.
I don't remember what he said. I used to have to write out his lyrics for those songs because he'd fucking forget them because he didn't write them. So he's like, make sure those are out there. I was like, all right. And then, you know, of course, the inevitable spills a drink on it, steps on it, rips it in half. I'm like, dude, you're fucked. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you better.
Why doesn't he just print them? Why doesn't he just print them in bold text?
We don't have a printer. What do you think
just print them out and bring them in a portfolio before you leave for tour. Right, get them laminated.
Manager about that.
I will.
Talk to Jake Sir. Tell him to get on that.
I like how they spell their name with an undercase I as well.
Yes, it's a very specific capital S.
Soy.
O-L. Right?
My favorite thing though is AJ Cavalera. Is he in a band now?
AJ Cavalier. I don't know. I tried to find him on Wikipedia, but there's no article. It just goes back to Drowning Pool.
He came from like a not big band. Like,
I don't know.
Some local, I think.
Trust Company.
No, they were bigger.
My favorite is when you see a dude in a band and you say, this dude, there's no way this guy's going to be in music in 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, like that guy in
Dirge Within.
Like, you just know, you're like, this guy's not, if he's
there's no way he can do it.
He's not going to last.
Was Tommy Vexed ever in Dirge Within or Bloodline? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Vex for his band was, I want to say the band with Dino.
Divine Heresy?
I mean, big band.
Yeah, Divine Heresy.
He was on the shit. And then loved
that band.
And then obviously his band now is huge.
Yeah. Could I do that for new metal? It's not really new metal though.
What, Bad Wolves?
Divine Heresy.
Divine Heresy. I would say that's new metal as fuck.
You can do whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like more death metal than new metal, I feel like. Wait, Tim Young on drums?
That's true.
Yeah, Dino's the new metal.
That would fly for a new metal album?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would let that.
If you guys let it slide, I might pick it for next time. Oh, that would be so much fun.
I remember a single from that I liked.
The one single, which was like, Bushes away.
It's called Failed Creation.
Yeah, Failed Creation. Sick. Tim Young playing like way too fast per usual in a desert for the music video.
It's just so awesome that persistence is the key to life in a lot of ways. Tommy Vext was in that band. He had a falling out with Dino after being in that band for like a year.
I remember seeing on stage they're falling out.
Yeah, so they could. Yeah. If you can't be in a band for a year with someone, then like again, it seems like you might not be cut out for this thing. And then Vex just kept doubling and tripling down on himself, and then he was in another band I think prior to Bad Wolves, and they broke up because they couldn't get along. And then Bad Wolves came along, and it just worked. I don't know what it was. It's maybe the fan base is a little more boneheady, but his band.
Tommy Vex the one that came out with the whole weird,
the marker thing. Was that what we're talking?
Yeah, the marker
about?
video.
The marker. Yeah, I saw that on Ryan's Facebook page before he deleted me.
Yeah, he's probably like, Tommy's a good guy. He's a smart guy.
I know who he's talking about. Oh, fuck.
This is Antifa.
He had his own band called Vexed.
Vexed, yeah.
And the guitar player was that dude, Angel Vivaldi. Do you remember we saw him at the Pliny show?
Yeah, but that
band never did anything.
That guy's a Guitar Hero type dude.
He's a big guitar dude now, which is good.
Fucking rips.
Yeah, I remember finding him on MySpace, being like, he shreds.
Yeah, he also has like a perfect Guitar Hero name.
Angel Vivaldi. Yeah, dude. I don't know if that's his real name, but it's sick. Yeah, it does. Angel Vivaldi. Yeah. Do you play those games?
Yeah, I played the first one.
Okay. Yeah. I don't, but
they're fun.
I didn't know that.
If you really want some visual candy,
I played one. It's insane.
I played and beat it, and I don't know what happened.
What's your favorite video game?
My favorite video game of all time is Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Hell yeah. Have you played the new remake?
I haven't played video games since I started gigging in bands. And when I was 15, I said, this is taking up a lot of my time. I'm either going to do this or this.
More games, yeah.
And then I just said music is more fun.
I'm with you there.
Actually, it wasn't more fun when you first start out and it's fun when you're the only band when you're 15 in your little area. Mm-hmm. Then when you start getting out there and you realize bands are good,
it sucks.
It consumes you.
Yeah.
How can we get better? What are we doing wrong? Yep. And then it takes you years to figure out, and that's what it is, a total time investment. Kind of like dudes who are good at like a thing like video games, and then they get into mass competition. You could crush all your friends at it because you have the game. Then we get in mass competition, you get fucking owned. And that's it. And it's just like the pool always gets bigger and bigger. Yep. You could stay in the small pool and just be like the king of shit mountain,
Yep, that is very true.
I have when I see bands, especially tribute bands, I have a lack of respect from them at this point if they suck. They need to be so good.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're a half-ass tribute band, I will fucking crucify you.
Yeah.
Because when I see a band that rules at it, like Led Zeppelin 2 is one of the top tribute bands I've ever seen in my life. Like I give them a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
They're beasts. No stone is unturned. The costumes, they play the exact instruments, the mannerisms, they sound just like them. When you're up there in like a pair of Wranglers and like an untucked shirt and you're trying to be your version of Scott Weiland, that's not going to fly with me.
Yeah.
You have to look like them. You need to wear the outfits. You need to be underweight.
Yeah.
Smoke cigarettes. You need to do all that shit. Mm-hmm. And if not, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I get it.
Then write your own shit.
Definitely.
Heroin.
Yeah, whatever. You got to look like them.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Very strange. But yeah, Soil, shout out Soil.
Yeah.
Shout out Soil for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing is, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have done as much traveling as I've done in my life. So I appreciate them.
Sure.
But it was cool. Yeah, it was nice to listen to this album. It's really the first time I ever sat down and listened to this whole album.
Wow, that is surprising to me because I thought that you would have
It's the separating the artist from the job, I guess.
Sure. No, I get it.
Because going into it was just a job for me.
Sure.
And, it just kind of evolved into like, oh, these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're friends of mine. And then
that's cool.
Going back and like I said, I bought the last album whole just because like it was coming out. I knew them. I was like, all right, I'll support them.
Yeah.
Like, They're the homies, yeah.
Lyrically, I didn't know who wrote the lyrics on the majority of this record. I don't know if it's Tim or Ryan.
I'm assuming it was Ryan.
Really?
Yeah.
Because these hooks are good.
Yeah, definitely like biker bar chicks dancing on table songs.
Yeah.
That seems to be the most of the crowds that they play for when we're out.
Yeah, you could dance and strut to these songs. It's like I could see these going over well at a strip club. A lot of them.
Oh yeah, big time strip club rock. Yeah, but I get it, because it's like you've always told me, because like in my head, there's Tim King, who's a dude that like obviously was Ryan in Oppressor?
No.
Just
Tim
Sean
was the vocalist.
Tim was the vocalist in Oppressor?
And the bass player.
And was Sean was in Broken Hope. I don't know if he was
in Broken Hope.
Yeah.
And Adam Zedell was the guitar player.
He was in
Oppressor, and then Tom something.
Is Adam still in the band?
Yeah, he's the original guitar.
Cool.
So Tim and Adam are the original members.
Okay. What about Ryan?
He's technically an original member, but he left for that little period.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny. Like, so Tim and Adam go way back. Like, I think I told you this year they were supposed to celebrate their, I want to say like 30th anniversary, like friendship anniversary.
Wow.
It's like insane how long they know each other.
Friendship anniversaries?
Dude, you laugh, but dude, they were going to go all
I just laughed at his reaction.
Out though. Like they were going to do a block party. Like,
is that what Ryan did the cameo for?
Yeah, well, that was for Tim's birthday.
Okay.
Not their anniversary.
No, I mean, our drummer, Gabe, I've known him since I was 15.
Yeah.
We go way back too.
Are you guys going to have a friendship anniversary?
I don't know.
Come on. You're not going to close down a whole block.
Yeah, for a fucking block party. Him and I wouldn't.
Was that,
him and I don't like. We wouldn't
Skrillex. They were going to pay Skrillex to come in and play the block party.
Wow, that's for their friendship?
Because they could.
They like Skrillex?
No, you're talking about. Are you talking about Skrillex or Skillet?
Skrillex, like
Sonny Moore, the dude from
Sonny,
from First to Last.
Whatever. I don't know.
You remember that band?
He was the singer in that band,
right?
right?
Yeah, he was their first singer.
Yeah.
Huge emo like band.
He was a scene kid. That
I vaguely remember that. But yeah, I was like all stoked for that. Like, go crazy with the catering, booze. I was ready for it. I was like, this is gonna be the fucking party of the year. And then COVID fucking happened.
That would have been cool. If Gabe and I ever had a block party or whatever, or any type of party to commemorate our friendship, I know both of us. Neither of us would want to go. Yeah, like, we don't.
Yeah, we're
dudes that
I'm gonna go to the bar.
Yeah, we're dudes that swing in and swing out of a lot of places, and we keep our shit quick. We don't post up for any long period. Even the shows, especially him, he gets antsy at the gigs too, where he's like, I've been at this bar for 4 hours because we're playing the show. Like, we have to be there. This is really funny.
Yeah,
so that wouldn't have happened.
That makes sense. But yeah, anyway, I was going to make a point that I know those guys are death metal guys, like, or they were death metal dudes. And it's cool to see that, like, and it makes sense to me, like, because, like, I also know you've told me that they're big, like, Motley Crue dudes and they like shit like that.
Yeah.
So you totally hear it in this for sure. So it's like, okay, I get it. The party aspect and the shit is there and this stuff. The death metal, not so much, but like,
no, not really. It's almost non-existent.
Oh, yeah, completely. You wouldn't be able to tell.
There was another one. I want to say one of the dudes that was in a big new metal band called Neurotica was in a big death metal band before Neurotica. And Neurotica was a straight up new metal band, obviously. So
it could be true. I don't know who.
I know what it was. It was, I want to say, it's like a death black metal band. It was something extreme. Like Angel Corpse, I think.
Angel Corpse?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, he was in that band.
Really? I don't know who Neurotica is, so.
They were a new metal band that was an Ozfest band with like braids, fucking
really big jeans.
Reflector pants. Like it was extreme. It was full fucking tilt. But the dude was from a black death metal band and they sounded nothing like it. It was just night and day, two different careers.
Sure.
And he was like the singer in that band. He was the lead guy in that band. It's just like, this was hot. I'm just going to jump on this. Maybe you like the music too. But that's an interesting example of that.
Definitely. Angel Corpse is sick.
I want to say that's the band.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up later. But this record, this Soil record, came out on September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
How much of a bummer is that?
A big bummer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So did it fuck up their sales?
I mean, the sales are good. They were really good, but I'm sure they made first week sales rough.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, at least they didn't have like an anti-American agenda.
Right.
You know, or an anti-government stance. So that's good. Fuck, that's wild, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I said earlier with like System of a Down came out the week before.
They got a little lucky.
And then a little lucky, and then Soil came out.
The Slipknot record, Iowa, came out a week before the System of a Down Toxicity record. So that was like August 28th or something.
Back to back to back.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. Good times.
Never forget.
Yeah, I was not listening to anything remotely close to this at that time. So
I was in high school, so I was listening to
which makes sense.
A lot of stuff. Although not Soil, unfortunately, but
I liked Blink-182 and Unwritten Law this era.
Unwritten 82?
Yeah, basically. You know. But yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed listening to the record. Like I said, it's probably something I wouldn't go back and revisit, but I'm glad that I got the window to check it out.
Yeah, you can say you did, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you'll understand the riffs now when I play them.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because I play a bunch of them.
I
do the opening song too sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
It's a good one. I like that riff.
You got to sing it, dude.
I can't sing.
Get Nate to do it. He'll do it.
He'll do it. Going
yeah, he does. That's nuts. I didn't know that dude was in Drowning Pool. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the follow-up.
Well, I hope you guys get to be friends again someday.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
Big of a deal.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Did he remove you or block you?
He just removed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually better than being blocked because there's
way better.
You could still get a reprieve if you friend request them again. Yeah,
it's the Rich move. I send out Rich does the blocking.
I did the friend request like 8 years ago because he's he's a vocalist, so he gets like 1 million friend requests.
Yeah,
he was like, he's all filled up, and I was like, whatever. And then one day it was just like, Ryan's your friend. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he started posting some stuff.
It's sad when someone blocks me. My ex roommate blocked me. Because we had total disagreements about COVID when it initially hit. I lived with this guy for years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those guys. He lives in Iowa. And he did his posts were, we're all going to be dead in like mathematically 9 months. And I go, there's no way. We're past 9 months at this point. I go, there's no way in hell that's happening.
Wait, what?
Like he
thought COVID was just going to get like ramped the fuck up and we're all going to die.
And
that's a terrifying way to live, but go on.
Yes. And then I said, there's no way that's happening.
Yeah. A little too developed.
And then we start getting at odds. And then he just kept throwing these like gloom and doom stats every day early on March and April. And I would say, nope. You know, and
then go out there and say no.
Before you know it, I just saw that he wasn't on Facebook anymore. And I said to my other friend, hey, man, it sucks. It's weird that Dan's not on Facebook anymore. And he goes, he's on Facebook. I see his posts every day. And I'm like,
whoa,
blocked, and I'm blocked. I can't refriend her. It's over.
Anything.
So our relationship
is over.
So I need to text him.
You have another chance, man. You do not. Unless
in order for me to get back in his life, and we've spent 3 years living together. We were good friends. Is for me to text him and say, can you please refriend me so I can be wrapped up in you and your family's life and your 2 children who I love. Or else it's over.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, Dan, if you're listening to this, just friend request or unblock me and give me a second chance. Thanks.
I might just have to wait till after Trump's out of office before.
I gotta wait probably till COVID. There's a vaccine for it. So I gotta wait probably like 6 months. Hopefully it comes next month or so.
There you go.
Yeah, cross your fingers there. But
yeah, I think you mentioned earlier, if anybody enjoys Cameo, you can find Ryan of Soil on there.
Yeah, he's on Cameo, so get him to do Cameo for our get him to Cameo and apologize to Bill.
God,
that'd be
somebody
so
pays for it.
Saying you should, but
funny.
If you do, I would not oppose.
Yeah, could he reject that though, or does he have to do it?
No, you don't have. It's not like they have a gun to your head.
Be friends with Bill again, please. Somebody fan of the show. Cameo. That's not my dad.
Hell yeah, that'd be really funny.
So
I'd probably just get a text from him like, I'm not doing this, you piece of shit.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
That'd be so.
Do you have his number?
I don't know if I have his UK number. I have his old American number. I think he switched numbers.
Oh, he lives in the UK now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he moved out there. He got married to a girl from out there.
Oh, I thought she moved here. I didn't know he moved.
No, he moved out there.
Damn.
Because she's pretty established. She's a tattoo artist, so she's like really established.
We should prank call him on the show.
That would not go well.
Okay.
That would be funny. Or prank cameo him.
Yeah.
Prank cameo.
I wouldn't even know how to do that.
I looked it up and the price isn't that bad.
No.
What is it? $60?
No, it's like $30.
That's it?
Yeah.
Prank cameoing is easy. Basically, all you're doing is this, which is if you ever order a cameo, I've done a few of them. I love them. Like I think cameo is so fun. You give them you have two or maybe like a couple hundred characters, maybe 500 characters to give them advice on how to steer the conversation.
Sure.
My aunt's birthday. She is a big fan of whatever the fuck. Give her a shout out to her sewing circle. Stuff like that. You're able to do that. And they usually follow them to the T because they're actually going on, you have the ability to rate them afterwards. And if they're a shitty cameo person, you give them 1 star and be like, they didn't follow the instructions at all. They were drunk or whatever. Right. Yeah. So these people want the money rolling in. So they will literally say to the T, whatever you say. They'll mention the sewing circle of this. So if you say, whatever, give an example of something that's like a touchy subject, and then they'll say it, but they'll not know it's a touchy subject.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you probably saw it in like YMH. They've had like a few cameos of people saying like fucked up shit where it's like it goes to the show. Like they've done that.
Maybe I have. I've seen a bunch of cameos that that dude Sam Hyde has made to get on Joe Rogan. Like I think he paid Michael Rappaport to do a cameo and some other like big ass comedians to do it. But it still hasn't happened. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I gave my friend Rez. I gave a cameo for Max Cavalera for his birthday.
That's all. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He when COVID first hit, we had no place to go, and I hang with him a lot. So he would invite me over to his house, and we were bored out of our minds, like crawling up walls, and we would watch. Well, we had fun there. Don't get me wrong, but we'd watch Home Improvement.
Hell yeah,
because it would air at the time. It was like 8 p.m. at night on some weird channel. So I had him put in the shout out, thanks for letting Eddie to come over and watch Home Improvement. And Max Cavalera said it was awesome. So cameo is awesome. So fucking fun.
It's a pretty fun idea for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Isn't Fiverr like the same thing, or is that a little different?
For musicians.
No, Fiverr's kind of for anything who wants to do a quick work. If you need a flyer created, you want to pay some dude $5 for it.
Yeah.
But Fiverr has become more evolved where there's more elaborate activities where it's above $5, $25, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, depending on how good you are and what you're providing.
I had to get a song off Fiverr where I don't know how they did it. I needed an instrumental version of a song for something for a wedding I was doing. And then the dude goes, I could take the vocals out of any instrumental. Oh, nice. Or so I can make any song an instrumental essentially. Mm-hmm. And I go, I gotta see this to fucking believe this. I mean, the vocal.
There are tricks to it. It's all about phase and I've attempted it. It's not as easy.
He took this vocally present country song. Like the vocals were loud as fuck in the mix, and I couldn't find a karaoke version anywhere. I needed to find one. I needed to just give it a college try. I gave him $20 on Fiverr. He got it back to me in an hour without vocals.
Wow.
Exactly the same. And I go, how the fuck do you do this? He goes, he said exactly what Bill said. He's like, I have a program where I could put it through the ringer. I need to do some an hour's worth of work on it.
Yeah, a little bit of tweaking here and there. And
but he killed it.
Wow, that's nuts.
Very cool. Yeah.
Sick. Well, shit.
A good trick to know.
Yeah. Fuck. Find him on Fiverr, whoever he is. Well, shit, man. We got another record here.
The last one.
Motherfucking GZR in the house.
GZR. Everyone knows. No one knows this record. This is the wild.
I've never heard of this before.
This is the wild card of the episode. Oh yeah, obviously.
Spotify had a hard time trying to find this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, because I just typed in geezer and I was like, "What the fuck?"
And it's like, no.
I'll get into it all.
Yeah.
All right. So this album came out in 1995. This is what I would say is a new metal record before there was new metal. New metal was kind of starting to become a thing in 95. Kind of. Very slow. The band Korn came out with their first record in 94, whatever. Bands were going for a much more meat and potatoes outlook of writing their songs at that time. So what happened was everyone knows that there was a band called Black Sabbath, obviously, and the bassist and the only identifiable bassist in that band is Geezer Butler.
Mr. Geezer Butler, everybody.
So Geezer has been a ride or die with all eras of Black Sabbath until around 1994, when Tony Iommi and him kind of were at odds or whatever, and he was the last guy to leave Black Sabbath and let Tony Iommi do it. They have a record that came out in 95, Black Sabbath did, called Forbidden, which is their universally labeled worst record.
Forbidden.
Okay. Black Sabbath Forbidden. It was produced and engineered by this guy named Ernie C., who is the guitarist in Body Count.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a record where they were trying to take Black Sabbath and revamp it to be cool, like a band like Body Count or something, or Current, and it just failed miserably. The only dude in the band was from the lineup, or from the original Black Sabbath, was Tony Iommi. He's the only guy who's been in every incarnation of Black Sabbath. It seems like something that's very common now, which is when bands need to get back together and reunite, it might take them 10, 12 years to do it, even though people are knocking on the door saying, please do it. Back then, it would go so quick. Black Sabbath would be on the outs and be like, this is weird. A world without Black Sabbath sucks, blah, blah, blah. And you'd have 3 years where Black Sabbath didn't do anything, and then they would come back together for an Ozfest. And it was so... And 3 years now is for a break for an active band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's just time meant everything.
Yeah.
So 95, Geezer leaves Black Sabbath, and he's going to do his first ever solo record.
Which is this? Which is Plastic Planet?
Plastic Planet. Plastic Planet was, first of all, the band there was obviously, everyone knows the huge band Weezer. This would be cool. Maybe it was a legal issue this way. He didn't want to call the band Geezer because it sounds too much like fucking Weezer, who was huge at the time. So he called the record and the band GZR.
Yeah.
Now
with slashes.
With slashes, G/Z/R. The second record he came out with, which is a solo record, he reverted back to just being calling the band Geezer.
I saw that. Yeah.
So it's a hard record to find. The story is this, which is he wrote all the songs, wrote all the
lyrics
for the most part, for the extreme most part. The lineup is as follows for this record: the legendary Geezer Butler on bass.
Mm-hmm.
His nephew is the guitarist in the band.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't recognize.
He's for the most part an unknown.
Okay. Yeah.
Just him and his uncle jamming, essentially.
Uh-huh.
You imagine that? Your uncle's Geezer Butler, and he's like, yeah, you want to do a band? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The drummer of this band.
Coolest uncle ever.
I want to pronounce it Dean Costanova.
Yeah.
You might know who this guy is, because he's kind of a big deal, which is he was, after this Geezer record, he got picked up by a little known band and had like a 15-year run in a huge band. He was the drummer in Journey.
Really?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see that on.
Whoa.
And it wasn't him having a 2-year fill-in thing. He was the drummer in Journey.
Wow.
He was in the band, I think, longer than 15 years. He got kicked out of the band in 2015 because he got in a domestic violence dispute with, I'm assuming, his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. And they didn't want any negative publicity, and they ended up segueing into getting the original drummer back in Journey.
Okay.
So the fans were like, if we can't have Dean, yes, go back to the original drummer, and now all's right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be when Rob Trujillo fucks something up and they get Jason Newsted back. It's one of those things, which will never happen.
Yeah.
Rob seems like he's on the level.
And then the singer, which I didn't reveal anything about this record to you guys.
I'm glad you didn't.
This is the Nu Metal Connection, which is another one. Burton C. Bell. And
when we met up, you were like, I didn't realize it was him.
The first time I listened to this whole fucking record, I just kept thinking, man, this guy sounds just like fucking Burton from Fear Factory. And then I looked it up and I'm like, wow, I'm a fucking idiot.
10 seconds in, I was like, that's Burton C. Bell.
Yeah.
I was like, Wikipedia. I was like, yep. I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome.
I got stoned and listened to it first, so.
I've also listened to a lot of Fear Factory in my day.
Yeah. Well, I get that right off the bat. I mean, the singing is like uncanny.
It's one of those iconic fucking vocalists.
Yeah.
There was Colin Richardson, who we talked about on the show before, is the engineer of Fear Factory, at least the second record, which is Demanufacture, which was released, I think, the same exact year, just before this one came out. And what happened was Colin Richardson's an English dude, and Geezer was poking around looking for a singer. And he goes, I like that dude's vocals. The dude was 25. Burton was 25 years old at the time. And they were, if the story goes, according to what Burton said, if I'm not mistaken, he was in England recording some vocals for the record, Fear Factory, like the Fear Factory, Demanufacture. And I want to say he was in London. He got it, like, Geezer goes, you got to come by the studio because I might want to, like, use you as my vocalist of this band.
Yeah.
And he goes, hell yeah, Geezer Butler wants to meet me, let alone try, whatever. And Burton C. Bell goes, I took a day-long train ride to, I want to say Birmingham. And goes, I went in Geezer's homemade, his attic, which was like a makeshift studio, recorded some vocals. And he's like, I'm looking at the bass on the wall that was Black Sabbath's first record that he used. His mind's blown as a 25-year-old. He takes the train all the way back to wherever he was staying. I want to say London. And by the time he's back at his hotel, there's a message waiting for him on his hotel answering machine or whatever saying, yeah, dude, you got the job. You're in.
Wow.
And that was it. And then
that's awesome.
It was, now Fear Factory was obviously a priority, but they were going to do maybe a couple runs or whatever, see how it goes. And this record is, for people who haven't heard it, first of all, you should hear it, listen to it. It reminds me a lot of the band Prong.
Yeah, definitely.
With Burton C. Bell on vocals and very detached from what Black Sabbath did for a million years.
Yeah.
It's more like upbeat, trying to be current.
Groovy shit.
There's a little bit of a learning curve with the record, which is funny to me, which is you could tell Burton C. Bell is a kid from Los Angeles. And he's using verbiage on this record which doesn't make any sense. And it's Geezer Butler speaking as if he's a United States American youth at the age of 55, and he's saying like the street lingo, which doesn't really jive well. Like there's things lost in translation.
It's fucking
weird. Hence the song we wanted to talk about was Drive Boy Shooting, which everyone who is familiar with the record knows this song, which is they had a music video of it.
Okay.
And a shout out to Adam T from Thieves, because he said, I was already thinking of doing this record, and him and I had a conversation about 2 months ago, and he goes, you got to do that GZR record. I go, I'm fucking thinking about it already. This was the clincher. But he was talking about Drive Boy Shooting, which is a total banger of a song. But I think the hook is Brother Man, Protect Your Son.
Yeah.
And it's just, what is
it? It is. I don't know what that meant, dude. When I heard it, I was like, what is this?
Like, he's talking to
Brother Man. Yeah, what? Very weird. I thought that was like, there's a bunch of weird lyrical shit going on in this record.
I know. So if Geezer hands you the lyrics and goes, you need to sing these lyrics, and it's Geezer fucking Butler, and you're a 25-year-old kid from Los Angeles, you're gonna be like, right. I guess I got to sing these.
I have to do this.
And then it doesn't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I'd be like, all right,
no one,
Brother Man.
Yeah, no one sings Brother Man.
Protect your son. Is that implying like look out for your kid?
Yes, basically.
Be a good father.
Basically, yeah.
Brother Man.
So
Brother Man.
I just love this record because it just reminds me of, basically, here's what it reminds me. And then by the way, let me look up his name because I wrote it down. Oh, it's Paul. The engineer of this record, if I'm not mistaken, is uncredited. But it was done by this dude named Paul Northfield, who is a legendary British producer. He did like Queensryche's an American band from Seattle or whatever, but Queensryche, I want to say he worked with Dream Theater. He did a whole record, and he did like later Ozzy shit.
Really?
And I want to say this record this is the best way to describe it, which is Geezer Butler is a fucking legend, says to all his buddies, I want to do this rad record, and you can't turn down Geezer Butler.
Of course.
So like, we'll give you a lame record deal. We'll give you lame artwork. Yeah, you want Burton C. Bell in your band, get him. I'll record your record. I'll just do it really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get credited for it or whatever, because I'm doing another project. There might have been lawsuits or whatever, like Evie's contract to do something else. We're going to give you I'm the drummer, and I'm going to be the drummer in Journey in a year. Yeah, I'll do your record really quick. You can't say no to Geezer Butler. Yeah. And this is the band that came from it, which is awesome. And this record is so, ripping on it is a funny, because it's a little funny, but at the same time, this record has banging riffs and banging songs on it for sure. And it's a vibe that has rarely been created by any band before it or since. Prong is the best comparison I could give it to. And I think they did one United States run. It was one I didn't go to because I was not into them at the time, because again, it was 1995. And they toured once and that was it. And then the follow-up record was made in 1997. And then they got a whole new band with different dudes in it. And then before you know it, in 97, by the tail end of it, Geezer was getting summoned to reunite Black Sabbath. And that was the end of his solo run, basically. He might have came out with another independently released LP after that. But this is really the good one because it's so influenced in groove and basic riffs. Burton C. Bell's vocal performance is fucking awesome. There's a lot of hardcore influence in it as well.
Yeah.
And I just love, and there's a lot of eye roll moments on the record. For example, there's a song which I love called Seance Fiction. Which is a fun of science fiction, but it's a seance.
Dude. Seance fiction, man.
There's a lot of referencing to ghosts or presence in the room, which is kind of it's almost like ghost. This is like a perfect album for Ghost Hunter fans. The show. There's a song on the record called Detective 27.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
About Batman?
Yeah.
Did you know that going into that?
No,
or you found that out?
Wikipedia.
I saw it on Wikipedia.
Those that know,
it stuck out. Yeah.
Those that know that the first appearance of Batman was in DC Detective number 27. So that was the reference, which is fucking cool.
Lyrics about Batman? I didn't really.
No, if you listen to that song, it's just Burton saying the words Detective 27.
Okay.
So it's kind of they had a cool idea and they were what they thought was a cool idea and ran with it. The bangers on the record are great. This opening song, Catatonic Eclipse, is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. With the drum like that.
Yeah, it's
A
cool.
stacker symbol, like.
Yeah, but when I first put this on and I listened to that, I was like, "Whoa, this is not like what I expected." There's it's a cool drum groove and there's cool accents on top of it. I'm like, "Whoa, this is not what I expected to hear."
Right.
Yeah, it's sick. It's really cool.
And the song,
the drummer of Journey,
X13.
Yeah, it looks like this guy Dean, who spells his name Deen.
Yes.
What the fuck?
2 E's?
Yeah, Deen. Dean. Yeah, dude. But he's been on a ton of shit. Tony McAlpine.
He did an Ozzy
Cacophony, Marty Friedman, Steve Vai, Ozzy. He was on Osmosis.
He was in Osmosis, yes.
Yeah.
He's a session guy, too.
James Murphy, Hole.
Yeah, he did.
He did Celebrity Skin uncredited session drums.
Yeah, so what happened was this, people know this, which is the drummer from, there's a girl that, I hope people know the band Hole on this, but there's a
there might be a couple out there.
There's a girl named Patty Schimmel, who's the longtime drummer of Hole. And she has a documentary where this is a funny story about Dean, which is he is all right. So Patty Schimmel is a kind of a runaway train drummer, punk rock, just doing one of those things. Mm-hmm. She creates a great groove in what would be Hole's breakthrough record called "Live Through This." Great record. Yeah. The songs are phenomenal, but it sounds very punk rock. They do a more polished version of that record in their second breakthrough record called "Celebrity Skin," which had the song "Celebrity Skin" off it, which is arguably their biggest hit. Mm-hmm. In the documentary, what happens is she not only is a shitty drummer, just in regular, or she's like a Punch and Judy drummer, punk rock drummer. And she's also battling heroin at the time. You're not going to record a good record in a great studio.
Crush it on heroin.
The dude who's recording that record, one of the head engineers, is a guy named Michael Beinhorn. Beinhorn is a guy that
Beinhorn is Finkel.
Yeah, exactly. He had a reputation of eating drummers alive.
Yeah.
So if you were a shitty drummer, he would badger you until you wanted to basically quit the band. This happened with her. And she goes, I can't play on the record. I can't deal with him. Yeah. And whatever. And then he fucking called up Dean. Dean recorded the whole record in one day. Yeah. Because he's
that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you listen to Whole Celebrity Skin, which is an amazing record, it's just Dean doing it session work.
Yeah, just
for one day
about it. Yeah. Just oh yeah, this is cool. And that's it.
The check cleared, right? We're good. We're good.
Yeah, and that was it.
Apparently, this guy's credited too. Dean, he did a song on Genexus from Fear Factory, just one song on the album.
Yeah, so him and Burton have been friends since this.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah. But I just love the idea of Dean a couple years after doing the Geezer record, getting somebody to do the Holes record.
Ridiculous.
98 when he goes back in the studio and just crushed it in one day.
Yeah, I got about some time. I could do it,
dude. I want to talk about this song, this fucking Tony Iommi diss track on the record, "Giving Up the Ghost."
"Giving Up the Ghost" is a reference to Iommi shuffling the deck on these Black Sabbath lineups.
Yeah, that's what this whole thing is about.
Here, man, Black Sabbath. My friends were talking about Black Sabbath recently when I was hanging out with them when they were saying Black Sabbath just released a line of Doc Martens.
Sure.
And right, which is crazy.
Not surprised.
You could buy a Black Sabbath pair of Docs that has like the Paranoid artwork on it, or like the first record art.
$600. Not even that much.
I mean, like it's probably $200, you know. But what's happening is Black Sabbath, people forget, everyone always references the Ozzy records, even though there's a couple of them that fall by the wayside, particularly the record Sabotage and Never Say Die.
Yeah.
People don't talk about those. They talk about the frickin' first four, basically, which is whatever, Paranoid, Masters of the Reality,
there's that other
Volume 4, and then the first one.
What's that other one that's a Black Sabbath record? It's another one. It's like the one either after or before Never Say Die. It's like the last one Ozzy did, or was that Never Say Die?
Last one Ozzy did was Never Say Die. Now they had a resurgence after Ozzy left with Heaven and Hell, which was the first Dio record, which was a classic. And they have a record called
Technical Ecstasy. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that did not go over well. The last few Black Sabbath records really didn't go over well.
Yeah.
And then when Ozzy left, there's a this happened with Van Halen. Anyone who's listening who's a Van Halen fan, but sometimes a change is needed, and you take an entity like Ozzy moving away from Black Sabbath, and you have his unbelievable early solo career, and you have Black Sabbath reinventing themselves with Dio. And it's just, that's a total win-win.
Oh,
and then what happened was Iommi lost Dio, and Dio started doing his solo stuff full time. And then he started just regurgitating the lineup. And then that's the song Give Up the Ghost, which was you got to fucking give up this shit.
Ironically enough, these lyrics, man.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a diss track. Yeah.
Here, we got you bastardized my intellect, castrated our conviction. You are desperately seeking Satan. Now that you've burned your bridges down, you plagiarized and parodied the magic of our meaning. You can't admit that you're wrong. The spirit is dead and gone. Then there's weirder shit.
Mic drop.
You don't bother me. You are history. A legend in our own mind, left all your friends behind. No one seems to care, and Satan is not there. There's nothing left to boast. Time to give up the ghost.
Those are really great lyrics.
Yeah, you're desperately seeking Satan.
All right, so do you know where
desperately seeking Susan?
Yeah, that's where it's from. Which is, I think that you know that movie.
No, I know of it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, so there was that movie probably came out a year before that or 2 years before that.
Yeah,
which is probably when he wrote the lyrics. Funny thing about Geezer Butler, which is before he became the bassist in Black Sabbath, he was studying to be a priest.
Really?
And he's very, very tied to religion in a lot of his lyrics. Yeah. I know for sure he said this recently that he's definitely a religious individual.
Wow.
And
what a fucking poser.
They you know, it's funny, and this is a Black Sabbath. This is kind of a folklore story, which is awesome. He goes, when we first started Black Sabbath, we started taking pictures of us for record jackets or whatever. We always had big crosses on.
Yeah.
And he goes, I forget who it was, someone who was close in their life, family or whatever, said to them, when they were going to go out and start doing it, they were going to go to the United States, they were going to go all over the world and tour and do this. Someone gave them crosses and go, you have to wear these. These will protect you.
Yeah.
It's a tie to religion. And then that became part of their aesthetic.
Okay.
And now, obviously, you know, especially any band that's entrenched in doom or whatever, whether it's an upside down cross or cross, they're all this rocking huge jewelry. You know? Yeah. You don't like that?
No, I hate it. I think it's so, whatever. You know what? I don't care. I really don't give a fuck.
Your little, your piece of jewelry.
I still wear it sometimes. Okay. Yeah, I still wear it sometimes.
Judge those people.
No, but I don't like wear a big like ankh on my fucking like chest. You know what I mean? Like hypnotizing wise, but it's whatever.
We have a Something Is Waiting song we've never played live, which is I think the only one called, and Gabe brought it up recently. Yeah. It's called Real Front Women Wear Ankhs.
Yeah, I like that song.
Yeah,
and I know of it too. Yeah.
So the title is cool.
Yeah, it is a cool title.
We might bring it up.
Nope.
No. We got to recount these votes.
Yeah. It's just funny to me that it's like, all right, so he wrote this diss track, and then like when the whole band got back together, it's like, oh, okay. Like, what happened to that? Was Tony like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, maybe he didn't really ever hear the song.
Did you check out the album, Mike? No, not at all.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's like, I've never heard anybody talk about this. Like, so to me, like, my dad, and I still like, I still have a hard time understanding why, but my dad loves Black Sabbath. He fucking loves Black Sabbath. Like the first always tells me the story about how he bought the first Black Sabbath record at Jewel Osco because they used to sell records there. Yeah. And he talks about like, because it doesn't look super satanic, but he would just like talk about like, he was like, yeah, I would have to hide, like pretend like I didn't know what it was about to my parents just in case. But like he was really into Black Sabbath. My dad's not a metal guy. He's not like a big metal guy. So it's like always weird to me. I'm like, you like the heavy metal band, but like you don't really like a shit ton of stuff. And it's like my dad wouldn't listen. Like now, if he listens to contemporary metal, it's like like Pliny or like instrumental guys or guys that have cool like like progressive stuff. He likes that, but it was
kind of likes the more progressive.
Oh, big time. Yeah, he loves progressive music, but it's just interesting to me because like it never made sense. It still doesn't make sense to me why he likes that band so much. And like my dad doesn't like Ozzy solo records. He doesn't like, I don't think he listened to anything Black Sabbath did after Ozzy was done. Like my dad likes Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die and shit. He's like he loves Sabotage. It's so weird.
Yeah, and Sabotage is their last great record, I thought, with Ozzy.
Yeah.
And then the Dio record, which is Heaven and Hell, is so good.
See, my dad like doesn't fuck with that at all. He likes the album they did. They did that one. I think it's Born Again. It was when they got the singer from Deep Purple.
Exactly,
What's his face? Ian Gillan. Yeah, because my dad loves Deep Purple. So, but it was just always so weird to me. And like, so when I was a kid, like for the longest time, I had no idea Black Sabbath had an entire career basically after Ozzy left.
Yeah.
I didn't know about any of it.
They've had a couple careers because the Ian and then the Dio era.
Exactly. They had the Dio era, which I didn't really know much about, and I just wrote it off. And then they had like that dude Ian Gillan was on like that. I think just that album.
He might have been a couple.
Yeah.
The Dio one is, if anyone hasn't heard Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
It's one of the best heavy metal vocal performances ever.
I believe it. I love Dio's the shit.
Just crushes it. Yeah. And then Iommi does the smart thing, which is he lets Dio breathe and just be him. Yeah. So it's not just like blaring riffs and then having him sing over it.
Yeah.
He takes the riffs back at times and then just does like subdued shit and just Dio goes off. It's so good.
That is awesome. Yeah, I got to check. I've never listened to that album before. Oh, never. So
dude. It is tight.
I'll check it out for sure.
To be a metal fan at that time, when you had Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz coming out, which is a classic, and you had fucking Heaven and Hell coming out almost simultaneously, you're like, what else do I get for Christmas? This is so fucking awesome.
That is sick.
And it's just the only way to do it was to beat the other guy, man.
Yeah.
And there was so much creativity, and there was so much as Ozzy being a solo guy and.
Well, Ozzy was on fire, dude.
He was unreal. And then he gave an ex-guitarist of Quiet Riot named Randy Rhoads a chance. And then we discovered Randy Rhoads and fell in love with him.
Oh my God.
Hungry players,
people still talk about him to this day.
Yeah.
I loved Ozzy. I was a big fan of his solo shit. I still like his solo stuff.
One of my funniest stories growing up was, when you're a kid and you talk about metal, we were kids, we were 14 and stuff. And one of my friend goes, my friends goes, again, we were clueless and we were making up as we go along. This was really before the internet, and before it really took storm. He goes, yeah, man, I love that song Crazy Train. We're like, yeah, it fucking kicks so much ass. He's like, man, like, Ozzy, you know how Ozzy wrote that? He wrote it because it was so crazy after Randy Rhoads' death that he felt like he was on a crazy train. And we're like, Randy Rhoads was on that song and died years later after fucking that song was written and published. So I don't know where you're getting your fucking facts.
Yeah, he was on Diary of a Madman too, right?
Yeah, which is, those records came out back to back year within each year.
Oh, really?
So it was, I want to say 80 and 81. And Diary of a Madman is lit as fuck. And the song Diary of a Madman is amazing. Wow. Those are two great records.
I know, it's so fucking good. Like I remember back in the, when I started getting into Ozzy, I was a kid. I was like 12, 13, and like you could go to Rolling Stones and buy like I walk in with $20, walk out with like 5 Ozzy albums because they would sell them for like $5.99 or some shit like that.
Yeah,
or,
I've done, but
$3.99.
AC/DC and stuff.
Yeah. They used to do that for all these like legacy rock acts,
Legacy rock, yes.
They would sell it, like all the Metallica records were like $7.99. So it was like, oh, I could walk out with not just one, but two. Because it was like, my options were go to Coconuts on Lake Street in fucking Harlem and pay $18 for one CD, or I go to Rolling Stones and get like the smorgasbord for like $20, which was awesome.
Rolling Stones is such a good bang for your buck. And I might have told this story. One of my favorite times in my life was my two things. One, I would go to Rolling Stone with any money I had and just sift through all of them and gather a huge thing of CDs and start picking and choosing from it. And then my favorite was every now and then my dad would be like, hey, I need a bunch of CDs for my car or whatever. I'm going to give you a list. And then this is right when cell phones came out. He goes, also, you'd have to call me because I want to like see what's there, what isn't. But I would be able, as my fee, to throw in a couple records for myself. And that meant everything because it was more CDs when you were 16, discovering more music. So cool. Geezer did the records with Dio. He did the Ian Gillan records, and then also he played bass on many of the tracks on Ozzy's record in the early 90s called No Rest for the Wicked, which was Zakk Wylde's first record. So if you with Ozzy, so if you see one of the videos in particular, which is one of my favorite Ozzy videos called Miracle Man, Geezer is playing the bass in his band, and Ozzy is just like coked out of his mind and like humping Geezer and stuff. It's so great video. Everyone needs to watch the Miracle Man video. But yeah, Geezer never really slowed down, and this was his moment in the sun, and it's a weird one. Definitely a weird one.
It's a weird one. It is a weird one.
But with the Burton aspect to it, and 25-year-old Burton singing 55-year-old English guy lyrics.
Very strange.
Dean killing it. You know,
yeah,
it's just
Dean, dude. Dean. Yeah, love that guy. Yeah, what a weird album, man.
It's a weird one, but it's so.
Is Burton on the second one?
No, they got a different vocalist because that time the next record was recorded in 97 or released in 97. It was called Black Science. I re-listened to that one when I had to refamiliarize myself with this one, even though this record is in my rotation quite a bit. Actually, I really, really enjoy it. And then by that point, Burton Fear Factory was a thing, a huge thing. And
what was out by then? Obsolete?
No, they were in the process of recording Obsolete.
Okay.
So it was, I can't be in your band. All due respect to it. It's Obsolete time. And then it all worked out for Burton.
Good for him, man. That's awesome that he stuck with Fear Factory.
They should really do a thing now at this point where I'm doing the math in my head. Burton is now a free agent.
Yeah.
They got to do a fucking Geezer reunion tour.
Oh my God.
And Dean is out of Journey now. Get Dean to...
Oh, the stars have aligned.
Yeah, that is true.
The nephew's probably kicking it somewhere.
Geezer's got to be so old now and probably doesn't give a fuck.
That's true.
Like, I'm sure he does not even give it. I'm sure he doesn't even think about that album.
I'm like, good guy.
I wonder, like, in his active brain, how much headspace a year he even thinks about that record. Maybe like once a year.
Probably once a year.
Or twice a year.
Yeah. Probably whenever he sees his nephew at like Christmas or.
Yeah. Oh, remember we did that? Was his nephew on the second record?
I believe so. He was the only surviving member. That would
have been awkward.
Dean at that point was recording with Hole and then going into Journey.
Okay.
For
there you go.
A 20-year span.
Yeah. Good for him. He probably made some
cleaned
bang for
up,
his
dude.
buck.
Yeah. Journey, the only thing is this. It makes sense that you're getting kicked out for a domestic dispute because they only want you to just keep your nose clean.
Okay.
Like they everything for that band is mapped out. Where when it's not COVID society, they do runs all throughout the year, but particularly the summer into the fall with the nice weather amphitheaters.
Okay.
And they just crush it. Like so they play Tinley Park every year and they have so many hits and they just fucking pack it and they'll go on tour with like Heart or REO Speedwagon and other legacy bands that have a decent catalog themselves. And just crush it. You know, they always headline, and their singer is not even their original singer. It's this dude who essentially was an American Idol type guy before American Idol. He's like they found him doing karaoke shit, but he was a guy from I want to say Malaysia. Just was so phenomenal. They're like, we need to get him. Their original singer, Steve Perry, though, is one of the best rock vocalists of all time.
Definitely.
And then also another Journey member, an ex-Journey member, is Randy Jackson from American Idol.
Yes, I remember that.
He was a longtime bassist for Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Facts.
Yeah. So Journey's had
that I did not.
It's funny how Journey, the majority of their members, the most famous ones are the ex-members.
Yeah, I know.
And they're still doing it and they're still popular. But no one can name like the pillars of Journey. If you ask me, I can't. But I'll name All Day Dean. I'll name Steve Perry and Randy Jackson. Those are my first three Journey members. And they're journeymen.
Steve Perry and Randy Jackson were like the only guys I knew of before this.
crazy.
I mean, I've never like
and the guy
Journey kick, but.
and the guy. I want to say his name is it's not Magellan, but the singer who's the new singer. I want to say his name is Magellan.
That guy's famous. Magellan. That's a real guy.
That's a person.
Like a historical figure.
He is an awesome rock. His name, I think, is Magellan or something like that. The singer in Journey currently.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Be hysterical.
Band members current. Lead vocals Arnel Pineda.
Oh, Arnel.
Close.
Yeah.
I'm Magellan. Sorry, dudes.
Neil Schoen. I think he's the lead guitar and backing vocals.
Oh, and the keyboardist in Journey got in trouble recently, not through his thing, which is his wife is a like a right-wing conservative, and she got hired as part of Trump's presidential like prayer team.
Mm-hmm.
So
is this that lady that she had a bunch of videos of like screaming and ranting?
Yeah, and she went,
and then the guy was like walking behind her. Like,
she went off recently during the election.
His wife.
Yeah, and now it's like you can't disown your wife, and she's a total 55-year-old cutie too.
That's so funny.
And I'm just like, God damn, that sucks for this
what
dude.
The fuck? That sucks. Oh,
yeah, wow. Yeah, I never really got into Journey other than their sick ass album covers. There were all these weird Scarab Mirage looking album covers.
Yeah. I want to say that the Journey artists did another band, maybe the Eagles, some of the Eagles album covers and stuff. Great album covers. Mm-hmm. If you're into Journey, that whole thing is iconic, you know? It's just like that's their aesthetic, you know? Journey reminds me of a band. I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but they had loyal ass fans during their initial run in the 80s.
Styx? I always compare those two bands. I don't know why.
Yeah, Styx is to Journey what John Mellencamp is to Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
Like they're the light version of that.
Yeah.
And they still have their own hits.
Yeah.
But you know the real shit when you fucking hear it, which
Journey.
is Journey has the extensive catalog and everyone in that band's a beast. And that's it. I mean, and kind of like Bruce Springsteen, have you ever seen his band? It's like that's firing on all cylinders.
Sure.
And then Mellencamp's still Rock and Roll Hall of Fame caliber, and I think he is in rock, and he has amazing songs.
Yeah.
But Bruce is the real shit. Bruce is insane, you know, top 5 band ever, probably, you know.
Okay. I hear you.
The E Street Band.
The E Street Boys.
E Street Band.
So how did you first hear of this Geezer record? Like what brought your attention to it?
That's interesting. I went to an all boys Catholic high school, and I was a big Fear Factory fan. Okay. So big. And we all were. Me and my little tribe I ran with, and there was this one dude who wasn't even like, he was more of into underground metal or whatever, and he came up to me one day and he's like, yeah, I like Fear Factory, but everything that dude's did since the record he did with Geezer Butler has been all downhill. And I'm like,
what?
I pulled a total Gabe where I'm like, yeah. And I like looked at, I go, what?
Pin back.
What was he? That's Gabe's like thing, which is he says yes and then starts staring. Like he stares into oblivion, questioning his own existence. Yeah, but I didn't know what he meant, and then I immediately started pounding the pavement like for research, and I found out that this dude did a record with Geezer Butler, and it took me about 9 months to track it down organically. And I found a copy in a record store, and I'm like, this is going to be something I purchase. It was that record, and it's so ironic. There were 2 records I tried to track down for a good year, and it was hard for me to do it. And I finally fucking found them. One of them was the Geezer record. Before that it was impossible to get your hands on the fucking First Down record.
Oh, okay.
And I found it in a record store downtown around the Christmas season when I was 16.
What store?
It was it doesn't exist anymore, but it was a small chain like Coconuts called Crow's Nest.
I remember Crow's Nest.
All right, so I found it at the one downtown, and it was
Rosie store.
Which Crow's Nest though?
It was in downtown Chicago.
Which one though? Because there was 2. Because Rock Records became Crow's Nest before they shut down.
It was not that one.
The one at the DePaul Center. Because that's the one I used to go to as well.
I'll have to do my research on exactly which one it was, but I remember I was with my aunt downtown, and I said I need this record, and it was a down record that was issued to the store probably the week it was released, and it just sat there rotting because the seal had the residue had transferred onto the CD. That was the thing. That was when you could tell a record had been sitting too long, is when that transfer started to happen.
It was on the case?
It was on the case. That means it had been sitting for... Back in the day, if you released a CD, it would get snapped up right away. Everyone just bought CDs. Buy. And you knew shit was sitting too long when it didn't get removed. So that was it. I was like, this has been sitting here since 1995, and now it's mine. But it took me a while to find it. And it was that one and the Geezer record, and they're both super groups.
Yeah.
Those are the hard ones to find. But I found both of them about a year after when I needed them. When I needed them in my life, I found them within a year.
Hell cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We should talk about, we might somewhere down the line, I think we're getting avant-garde with it, but talk about maybe even a down record. Because there were some records that, not the first one, not NOLA, but I might do the second one coming up soon, because that's more of a new metal chunk record if there ever was one from Down.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of maybe a hint.
Hell yeah. That's sweet.
I love Geezer though, and I love Geezer Butler as a person. I think that as a rock musician, he's fucking amazing. One of the best bassists ever. He's so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
And
so did you like the CD when you bought it?
Yeah,
did you like it?
I did. And now looking back on it, I liked everything that Burton did. He was one of my favorite vocalists.
Sure.
So I did have a different opinion of it back then, because I was the opposite of being hypercritical, which is everything their touch is great. So I just love it. So looking back on it, I thought it was better back then than what I currently think of it now.
Okay.
But I still really enjoy it.
Sure. It's a fun listen.
It's a fun listen. That's the thing, which is, it's not ever a record I'm going to say, you need to hear this band. They were ahead of their time. They weren't.
Oh, it's just like this dude doing something.
Yeah.
It's like he's just doing something. Because that's totally what it is. It's like Geezer was probably like, all right, like Ozzy's kicking ass. Black Sabbath is still going. What am I going to do? Okay, get this kid from Fear Factory and like his nephew and just crank out this weird record that sounds modern at the time.
Right.
You know, it reminds me a lot of like, kind of like how listening to that record that you picked last time with Tony Iommi or his ex's, his wife.
Drain SDH.
Yeah. It's something like that to me, where it's just like this weird, like, let's give this a shot type of feel. But obviously this didn't really take off so well. I mean, it wasn't even released on like a major label or anything.
I think it might've been I want to say a TVT Records release.
It was TVT.
And then TVT did the first Seven Dust record, from what I'm saying. They ended up going bankrupt. That was their biggest record they've ever released.
Seven
but
Dust? Or GZR?
No, Seven Dust. When when you release the first Seven Dust record and a year later you go bankrupt, your label isn't being run properly, because that record sold 1 billion copies.
Huge.
And then you're like, this will springboard into something else. I think I want to say TVT, we could look into them. There was definitely a new metal-esque record label.
Okay.
They got absorbed by someone. I think Columbia bought them.
Okay.
So they at least got a check,
There you go.
but TVT Records did not continue on. They're like, we're going to mercifully absorb all your bands, send you out to pasture, you get a little bit of a check, and don't ever come back. It's just one of those things,
Dude, did I ever tell you the story about how I saw Burton C. Bell in a fucking Ethiopian restaurant?
You did. I think it was on here, and I love that story.
Yeah, it's such a sick story, man.
Yeah.
And him and fucking Al Jorgensen.
Yeah, that's really fucking cool.
That's awesome.
Nothing I love more than seeing dudes who you could totally tell Burton C. Bell was influenced heavily by Jorgensen, because he was probably a big Ministry fan. I mean, I know
shit with Ministry apparently, right?
And when they kind of do it's almost child and uncle, even though they're not related. When you see them out hanging out, it'd be the equivalent of whoever you're really into. That's hanging out with them.
Yeah,
like just broing down. And that is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And he brought Bert on the road for that tour, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is really sick. Hell yeah. I never got... I did like some Ministry stuff, like Psalm 69.
Yeah, that is the real shit. And then also Mine is a Terrible Thing to Taste. Came out right after that one. And they had some other... Like the record that is... if you listen to black metal, like new age black metal, the one they always like is a record called Filth Pig. Because it has that hard industrial influence in it.
Yeah.
Like dark industrial.
Okay.
So a lot of those black metal bands started using that and drawing heavy influence from that record.
Sure.
So that's always their go-to, but that's a really cool record too. Ministry actually does it too much. They release too many records.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Yeah, they just released one, I want to say like a year and a half ago. And the lead single off it was called Antifa, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, we don't really need song about Antifa necessarily.
Well, yeah, because now Al Jorgensen's this big like edgelord type dude.
He's an edgelord, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's trying to do, and he just looks like a B-listed Pirates of the Caribbean cast member, but that's how he looks in real life.
Yeah, the tattered dreads.
Rastafarian, but smarter than you look somehow with the weird John Lennon sunglasses that are like opaque. I don't know. Yeah, he's a weird guy, but
the first time I heard
they waved when I was like, Al Jorgensen, the Burnsy Bell in the Ethiopian restaurant.
Someone called me an edge crusher, or no, I'm sorry, an edgelord.
Yeah,
like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, someone called me an edgelord.
Oh, really?
Or said like quit trying to be an edgelord, and I brought it up to my friends Donna and Ronnie, and I think I said someone called me like an edge crush. I think I said edge crusher.
Edge crusher,
and then they're like, "What?" I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they were saying. They're like, "Do you mean edgelord?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. And they summed up for me. There's like, you're trying to be radical and confrontational and controversial.
Alex Damsky.
He's the guy who voted for Kanye, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Definition. That's it.
According to what your podcast told me.
That was the best reaction. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can't even like talk to him about that shit.
I know.
I won't. It's not even worth going down.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this.
I don't think he does.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll find out on next week's episode.
Whatever. You know, that's like him in a nutshell. And I've just been, okay, you know, like I have nothing to say. Yeah. Do what he's going to do.
You're not going to stop him.
Yeah. I'm not the one, but I wouldn't say, I mean, like, I guess I could get that because you post like controversial stuff on the internet sometimes, but it's never about anything that's like that people are like it's not like a life and death. Like you're not the type of guy that'll be like, I voted for Kanye. You would be like, this record is like sick and you're stupid for not thinking.
Yeah. Or like, okay. If I'm critical of Deftones, that's not me throwing down a gauntlet, you know, or, you know, if I say something negative about Tool.
Do you not like Tool?
Fucked up anybody's day.
No, I think the thing that I don't like about Tool is I'm glad it's out. The anticipation that comes along with that band is like a wet blanket where the new Tool's getting released. Oh, wait, it's not getting released till a year from now and a year and a half from now. And Maynard gets interviewed and it's just like, enough. Just release the fucking LP, you know?
Yeah,
and it's
just do it.
Yeah, and also then when it comes out, all hell is breaking with the analytical aspect of it because now everyone has to review it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think of the new Tool. It's a little weird, but of course it's a little weird. It's Tool, you know, and then it's just that shit. So all that is something, it just turns me off to the whole process. And I never really liked him much to begin with.
Okay.
You know, it's just when I listen to a record like Undertow or Anima, that reminds you of 90s cool shit coming out. But then it was
90s cool shit.
Then I totally fall off with Lateralis. And
that's
all
where I jump on.
Yeah. So,
but I do like most of their stuff. But I also am not like a big Tool guy. Like I'm not the Tool guy.
You're not a Tool?
I like Tool, but I'm not a Tool guy. Yeah, I'm not a Tool. I bought that new CD though at that record store because
that's like a sick ass looking.
I know.
CD.
So I was just like, oh, this is a big deal. Like I'm gonna get it. I spent like $30 on it or some shit, and it has like a built-in LCD screen. It comes with a charging cable. I'll bring it. You can see it next time. Awesome. Remind me. If you even give a fuck.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's fucking
cool.
ridiculous.
You want to charge your CD up?
Well, because they did, remember, did you have the CD for 10,000 days?
Yeah.
With the goggles that are built in and you look at the booklet and it's like, whoa, 3D. It's like such stoner shit.
Yeah, there's a word for it. I mean, that's an old thing from like way, way, way. I have an antique version of one of those that does the same concept.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. But
I want to say that
gotta make people buy CDs somehow.
I was at a bar or whatever, and I was ranting against Tool. This is years ago, and I said, "What is even 10,000? Like they call the record 10,000 days. What does even that even mean?" And then someone goes, "It's the length of cycle of like a person who's terminally ill from cancer.
Yeah,
like from start to finish." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." I'm like, "That is a pretty."
Well, I think that
is a pretty
because isn't it about Maynard?
His mom.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not really. God bless anyone who is a Tool fan because they have, but I don't really need to be one of their fans because they have so many.
They get enough.
It's like when I heard Dream Theater in high school, I said I don't need to be a fan of this band if I don't want to be because they have so many fans. There's some bands that they give a college try and they're rad and they're doing something which is a little off the beaten path. And you say I want to be a fan of these dudes because even though I don't like them 100%, I want to get to like them because they're at least being ambitious.
Oh yeah, they used to do that. Progressive Nation tour, and they did one. Nate went to the show. I'm kicking myself in the ass. I didn't even go, but I was like a freshman or a sophomore in high school. It was Dream Theater, Opeth, Between the Buried and Me, and this band called 3. And BT Bam, like, I think they just put out Colors. Like, it was one of the first tours they did, or they were still on Alaska. So it was like early in their career, and they were playing the Chicago Theater, which is insane. Like, a band that's like on Victory Records is playing the fucking Chicago Theater. That's nuts. And not even like a really like commercially successful band, but like a weird band. And I always thought that was sick because it was like, oh fuck, they're taking them out. But then I would listen to Dream Theater. I'd be like, what are all these weird ballads that I don't understand? Like, this is progressive. Like, I never got it until I listened to more. They've never really been my thing either. I've enjoyed them from afar because Max and Alex are Dream Theater dudes to a certain extent. But like, I never, like, back then when I think it would have adapted me to be a Dream Theater fan, I just never cared enough.
You, if you're not into Dream Theater, well, I don't think you would be into these dudes if you're not. I think the thing that would allure you to a band like Dream Theater is the technical aspect to it. But those that say Dream Theater is way too technical for me, they're all over the place, they're swooping and all that shit. Then I would say listen to Queensryche because
I never got into them.
They sound like Dream Theater if it's more of a primitive, basic song shit.
Yeah.
They're still good players, but it's not as fucking flashy and all over the place. And the songs are much shorter. 4-minute, 10-second songs as opposed to 14-minute song. You know what I'm saying? What do you call the thing where you have a huge song, you split it into waves?
Pieces?
Just like
movements.
Movements. I cannot do. If you have movements in your song, I'm done.
I like that shit, but I get it. Yeah, with Dream Theater, I don't like that shit, but other bands I do.
One band I'll do somewhere down the line is the Super Joint Ritual record, the first one, which has a lot of new metal aesthetic, everything in it. But there's a song called 4 Songs, which is it has movements in it, but they're not pieced out, and you have to. And it's called 4 Songs. It's just 4 songs put together. You know, and it's a legendary Super Joint song.
It's sick.
4 songs, dude.
Phil Anselmo coining the movements. But yeah, I agree with you. Well, that was the thing, because like at first I heard Dream Theater and it wasn't the shreddy stuff, and then I heard the shreddy stuff and I'm like, I already had enough of it. I mean, I knew of enough of it by then where I was just like, okay, like I'm good with my technical death metal bands as opposed to like this. But I love I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, I don't know how we started talking about Dream Theater, but we were talking about Tool.
Yep.
And we were talking about something else that led there.
Massive rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about the CD. The packaging of that new Tool.
With the plug.
Yeah, with the fucking charging cable. It's probably dead. I probably need to charge it again. Yeah. Woo! I don't think it's Tool. Like some people call them new metal. Like on Wikipedia, they would have that and 10 other genres.
Yes, and if we did one of particularly their first 2 records, it would make sense in the context of the show. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so
I don't think I would ever pick them, period. But like, yeah, I would never. I don't know. I still like in my head, I never registered them as that. But sure, some songs from Undertow are like not like Lateralis, you know?
It's so weird that I listen to Tom Morello's radio show every week on Sirius.
Oh,
and he grew up with Adam Jones from Tool.
Yeah, they're friends.
And it's so weird because I love Morello. I don't really like Jones, but he is arguably equally as influential of a guitar player as far as the hard rock game as Morello is.
Sure.
And they grew up in the same suburb and were friends.
Yeah.
And they sound completely different.
Oh yeah. Big time.
I don't understand how
like polar opposites.
When 2 dudes grow up together and they start jamming off each other, there's a similar thing where even if they go to separate ways.
Sure.
Like Journey's once wrote about. That's a big Journey song. They will have similar styles because they cut their teeth together.
Yes.
And that doesn't happen with those dudes at all.
No.
And he still talks about him often. He's like, my friend from childhood, Adam Jones, he's got a new record out, but you got to listen to this track from Undertow that I'm going to play for you right now. He's not burying their past. And the main thing he said, which was interesting, was this, which was he had an episode where it was an all Eddie Van Halen tribute episode, basically. And he says that both them growing up were huge Eddie Van Halen fans.
Hell yeah.
And he influenced them so much. And if you listen to kind of both those dudes, you really don't hear much of the influence of Eddie Van Halen. Maybe Morello a little bit.
Sure.
But not Jones. But he goes, we were both monstrous fans of him, you know? R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen.
For real, man. I got to take my antibiotic before I forget. Whoops. I forgot like 2 hours ago. But I'll be fine.
You're going to die.
No, I'm not.
My piss is gonna smell after this.
My fucking amoxicillin, dude.
What are you nursing?
My fucked up tooth that I have.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Do you want to show it to us on the show, or
you can't really see it, but like,
molar?
Yeah, it is my molar back here. I put some cavity in it. It's basically a chipped molar that I've had for a year, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And like, it's gonna cost me a fucking arm and leg to get it fixed, and I gotta wait for my insurance to re-up next year to do it. Even then, it's not even gonna cover the whole thing because it's so much money. And like, it started to get infected because it was really hurting when I was eating and shit. And I was just like, God damn it! And then I just had my girlfriend help me out and make connects with her dental office because that's where I go to get my work done. Like, they got me some antibiotics, so luckily the infection is going down.
So a similar thing happened to me years ago, which was I chipped my tooth on a bacon bit at a restaurant. It was like a hard ass bacon bit, and it cracked my tooth right in half.
A molar?
No, it wasn't a molar. I guess it was I don't even know what we call them, incisor. So it cracked in half, and literally the tooth is split. All right. This might be our closing story of this episode, which is awesome. The tooth is split. And what happens is when your tooth is split, all right, there's the science of your body is this, which is it tries to heal itself and it can't.
Of course.
In order for it to heal itself, it uses like gas. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes, for example, your breath smell.
Yeah.
So it's really nagging, and you can taste it every time you eat a meal. And it's like it tastes like shit or whatever because your tooth is trying to heal itself and doesn't fucking work. So I had this split in it. What happened was I didn't, again, no dental insurance, got the quote, $1,000, whatever, minimally, whatever bullshit. Yeah. Right? So what happened was I rolled with it. And then what happened is it got so to the point where the tooth just gave up. I rolled with it for like a year. It got to the point where the tooth gave up that literally I just wiggled half of it out and just ripped out that portion.
Yeah.
And then it was gone, the bad part. And then what happened was I went to the dentist like soon after that. And I'm like, all right, I guess maybe I have to like rip off the rest of this tooth. And they're like, no, your tooth has miraculously like healed itself. So the other side that was left, which was probably 3/4 of it, just said, now we're not existing with this other part, and it's kind of healed itself. Here. So if you ever see inside, so I got super lucky. So it just like, it never happens that way though. Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely has not happened to me that way.
Yeah. So it was really, really cool because my initial diagnosis was, all right, you got to get the tooth ripped out, and then you got to get a false tooth in.
Oh, man.
But if you ever want to look inside my mouth, whatever, you could see it. It's like half there. It's funny.
Yeah, I believe that. Holy fuck, man. That's rough. Yeah, this is a molar, so it like hurts so fucking much.
Use those a lot.
Yeah, so definitely is. I got to get like a root canal and a crown put on.
Yeah, that's what they. That's what they initially diagnosed me with. But yeah.
But I'm either going to do that or get an implant, but that's even more money. So
yeah, implants can be pretty expensive.
Yeah. So this sucks. I hate it, but like I'm just running with temporary solutions for the time being. Like you could buy like some bullshit like fake filler stuff to put in, like a fake filling to put in there, which we did. And that's been helping a lot. And then on top with these antibiotics, I'm crushing it. So my mouth feels good. I could eat whatever I want.
All right.
I would always have to favor for like a year one side.
That's what I still do.
Yeah, it sucks.
I hate it, man.
Yeah. And then when you get like Cavalier with it, and then it touches the other side and it burns for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Cavalier, dude. I do that all the time. I did that like yesterday.
If you get AJ like, Cavalier about it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like I have ice cream and it accidentally gets over here and it's really cold. I'm like, oh my God.
We one of our cool things that we do on this show is we have given shout outs to some motherfuckers which have been lost in oblivion.
Have not been talked about.
And we talk about at length. And we're like, remember AJ Cavalier when he killed it?
Dude.
Or remember Dean Casanova fucking killed it that one time? He'd be like, if he was in the room, he'd be like, you're talking about Journey, right? Or
nope.
You're talking about Geezer.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's a good throwback.
Cool. Yeah, it's really cool. That's why I love this show.
Hell yeah. Well, shit. Do you guys have anything else to say about your respective records?
Nah, feeling pretty good.
This was a good week.
It was good.
Yeah,
It was a great week.
And obviously it's bi-monthly, so it was just a good week to listen to these LPs. Besides that, my personal note to everyone is have a great holiday season. It's going to suck this year compared to other ones, more than likely, but if you roll with it, just be relatively safe. Don't be a fucking idiot who doesn't wear one in a gas station, a mask in a gas station.
Yeah.
I say this, which is if you're cool with rolling without masks, I'm okay with that. Just don't do it in a public environment. That's where it becomes your process is overbearing and it's affecting people that are strangers. Just don't do it. Have enough respect for that. Yeah. Fucking, and I get it that you don't give a fuck, but if the majority of us need to give a fuck,
play along. Yeah, just fucking do it.
Yeah, or even like fucking half-ass it. Just run in and be like, oh yeah, cool. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there you go. It's something. It's something, and
put
it shows that you're
in
trying.
Front of your face. Yeah, it shows that you're fucking trying. That's it. Besides that, I'm not going to see you guys till after the new year.
Yeah.
On the show, wise at least. I'm sure I'll run into you.
Yeah.
I will never see you again.
Yeah. Never again. But besides that, I wish everyone out there a happy new year.
Same.
I can't wait for this episode to air. I think it was a real fun one.
Hell yeah, me too.
Anything to plug?
No. Me and Bill are going in the studio soon. That's
Sick.
it.
You guys have dates?
We do, but we won't discuss them. But
okay.
It might interfere. Let's put it this way: timelines wise, it might interfere with our next session of this. If math acts out correctly, it might.
Okay.
It seems like it's going to line up around that time.
Be all right.
We should be okay. Yeah.
I'm always switching around
after the recording session.
Nice.
We'll see.
I think I want to go on. I haven't even had the recording session yet, and I want to go on vacation after.
Yeah,
Are you going to go on vacation?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the island.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Of Dr. Moreau.
Yep.
Yeah, great movie. Watch it while you're on the island.
There's no better
Marlon Brando.
There's no better feeling, man. There's two ways to vacation. One,
watching the island of Dr. Moreau.
No, this is the worst way to vacation. When you have something coming up when you get home. Big work project, big activity, and that's in the back of your fucking head. The best is when you're doing a studio session, like the big first chunk of the studio, and then you go on vacation right after it.
Oh yeah,
it's so he's planning
I've
it
never
right.
done that, but I'm sure it's
I think
sick.
I'm gonna honestly. I think that I'm gonna plan a vacation around the time, and then fucking homeboy Gabe is for sure he's gonna be out. He's gonna go to LA.
Vacation beforehand.
Yeah, no, he does. We're a band that we play shows on weekdays, so we can go on vacations on weekends.
There you go.
We're a big vacation band.
Makes sense.
Like our weekends.
We like our weekends.
Like Metallica.
Yeah,
we're the opposite of Metallica.
Oh yeah.
We'll rock your club on a Tuesday, dude.
Yeah.
If you have a Tuesday gig that's going to be rad, we're going to be there.
Are available.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny. Hell yeah. I have something to plug. I don't know if it's still going to be online, but I did this playlist for this online radio show called Rock in Chicago. I guess they have like...
I'm familiar with it. That's awesome.
Yeah, they asked me to do one. So you guys are on it. I picked Something Is Waiting song.
Oh, cool.
That's on the show. Most of the bands are my friends' bands, but if you have Spotify, look up Rock in Chicago. I think it starts tonight. They're going to upload it tonight. So it might even, I think it's only for the week. So it might not even be out by the time anybody's hearing this, but yeah, it might not be. I don't know. I have the playlist. So if you want to hear it, you just message me. It's on my Spotify, so I can just share it.
Facebook.
Yeah, I'll share it on Facebook and our social medias, and bunch of cool bands. Baron Era's on it. Our friends in Motion Failure who came on last week, they're on it. You guys,
I listened to that record.
Mortal Bird. Yeah,
it's awesome.
It is awesome, really right? Yeah, I fucking love it.
Give me the name of the band.
Motion Failure.
Cool.
They're like, it's my old friend's new project that he's been doing, and they were supposed to do their first show with us with Warforged that was slated to be in April, but it ended up obviously getting canceled due to everything. So,
I have an impression.
Yeah.
This is my current impression right now that I've been throwing out there. It's really simple.
Okay.
Due to COVID-19. You know.
What is that, Gabe?
No. You know how when you
COVID-19
when you call like a credit card or a cable company or whatever, they're always going to throw in this. This is the reason why we're being slow right now, which is an excuse. It's always due to COVID-19, and
you're
it's
experiencing higher volume.
Yes, exactly.
I know that.
Cheers.
Hell yeah, COVID-19.
Fuck it. No, we're almost out of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think that vaccine's coming for at least the rich people, and that's really all we need to protect in this world.
Yeah, protect the rich.
The 1% must be saved.
Well, sweet.
You guys rule.
Yeah, you rule, man. Thanks for coming on.
Congrats on another great episode. I've been listening. You guys have been killing in the episodes lately, I look forward to hearing this one.
Same.
And have a great fucking new year until I see you the next time, and that's it.
Hell yeah, 2021. Next music will be Nate in 2 weeks from now.
Yes, can't wait.
Or 3 weeks from now, technically. Right?
Yes.
3 full weeks until we get to his episode. Yes. Well, there'll be 2 episodes in between. You get it. You guys know how we do it.
Them.
Yeah.
It's going to feel like 2 weeks for us.
Yes, it will feel like 2 weeks for us, 3 weeks for you guys. So yeah, I already have like 4 options for that, and I don't know what I'm going to go with yet.
Oh, really? I got one already.
Do you?
Yeah.
Sick. Fuck yeah. Well, cool.
You guys rule.
All right. Hell yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thanks you. For coming Happy holidays.
See you guys.
See ya. Hey, everyone. Gobo here. Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give this page a like, a follow, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Cool? Bye.